We are back Monday evening, and what a week it's been. We've got bowl games to talk about. We've got a bowl game to talk about that's coming on tomorrow where Alabama looks for revenge against Michigan. I'm kind of actually excited, Coach, that Alabama's playing Michigan. Good way to get that revenge from last year. But also, it's not the same Michigan, right? Not the same Bama, but they've got a lot of opt outs. Before we jump into all of this, talking about Oklahoma being down by Navy, then losing a defensive coordinator to West Virginia. Got a lot to talk about, but before we can dive into it, Coach, how are you this evening? Blech.
Blessed, brother. Blessed. Never stressed. You know what I'm saying? Don't even think less. You know what I mean? Blessed, man. Trying to bring the new year in with the fam. Ready to talk some Bama ball. Tired of seeing everybody else play. But ready to see that Crimson do their thing, man. How are you? Is the bigger question.
I'm good. Good. Just got off work, got home. We wanted to do this live stream. Got a lot of football to talk about. I'm excited to dive into this. If y'all missed last week, we had Clinton Lamb on. That was an absolute treat. You want to talk about one of the best in the business. I don't care about covering Alabama, just covering college ball. That guy is great, both in
Yeah.
terms of being a fanalist, right, and an analyst. I think that's what makes guys like him so interesting, and even a Josh Pate. They're
Yeah.
absolute professionals, but they're also what I would call a fanalist, right? Like, Coach, you and I are fanalists. They are fanalists where you can tell they love the game. They love the game of football, but they're just doing it on a massive platform. The
Yeah.
industry needs guys like that. That's what I
Facts.
think the industry is missing. They need guys like that. I'm not saying
Yeah.
they're the only two, but those are can't find too many better examples of two guys than Clint and Josh. So that was awesome. Be sure to go check out Cover Clemson, all of Clint's stuff. He was
Yeah.
awesome enough to grace us with his time. But Coach, I want to start with this evening. J Dog says, "Roll Tide Roll. I'll be at the game tomorrow. Too bad the food at Raymond James sucks. It'll be cool to see Milroe in person since he did not play last year against USF. That is going to be awesome." But Coach, this is a question I have for you. I see a lot of people saying Milroe shouldn't play. It should be Ty Simpson. I feel the opposite. Like, don't get me wrong. If Bama's blowing Michigan out come the fourth quarter, sure,
Facts.
sure,
Yeah.
sure. But Milroe was the player whenever Saban retired, whenever everything was up in the air. He looked at the camera and said, "I'm not going anywhere. Roll Tide."
Yeah.
Like, he was such a steady force. I don't care what you feel about Jalen Milroe, the quarterback. He has earned the ability to play in this game if he wants to or not. And if he wants to play, by all means, man, go out there, put it on the line because that guy, Andrew Bone had a great quote, and it's not my quote. I do want to give credit where it's due, where he always bled crimson talking about Malachi Moore. That's 100% true. Same goes with Jalen Milroe, man. For him to be a steady force in that locker room when the GOAT retired, you don't know what's going to happen. That guy could have gotten paid. I'm not saying Alabama's like skimping his money. I don't know his money situation, so I'm not diving it. But I am going to tell him, Coach Sean, am I wrong? A guy like Jalen Milroe, how many teams do you think reached out to him and said, "We got some serious, clams over here for you. Come over here." So, what do you think about all of this?
Think to not want Jalen to play is ridiculous, and I'll tell you why. A lot of people don't understand that it takes more than just 2 weeks, 1 week for the first team for another guy to take first team reps, man. Um, Being in sync with the offensive line, being in sync with comeback routes, pass routes, learning the difference in between cadence of voice, learn the difference between 3-step, 5-step drops on offense. When your back foot hit, when the ball come out, where's the receiver at on his break? Where's the receiver at in his route? That takes time, man, and you cannot get it in 1 week, right? It's the reason why first team quarterback take all the first team reps. Second team quarterback take all the second team reps because that is nothing you can get in sync within a week, right? Everybody was clamoring for what was the young man's name? Notre Dame. Um his name escapes me.
Buckner.
Young man Buckner, right? And you seen how out of sync the offense was. Not saying it'll be like that with Ty, but you put him on the first team reps. right? With the first team guys, the first team center, the first team everything. If you look at Ty in the cleanup time, it's a several first team guys, but it's a lot of second team guys out there with him as well. And it has a lot to do with sync, man. It's nothing you can do in just a week's time, 2 weeks time. It takes time to get another guy that reps, the continuity. Everything just takes time, man. So to want Ty to play the entire game is crazy, right? You go out there and you get your ass beat, and it won't even be Ty's fault. It won't even be his fault. It's a sync thing, right? So I want to see Ty as well, but I want our offense. I want to see Ty by way of our offense putting belt to ass. I don't want to see Ty start, right? I don't want to see a Miami situation where Jalen plays a little bit and comes out and nobody knows what. I don't want any of that to happen. Go out like we usually do, play a awesome game, understand this is it for the seniors, understand what you're playing for, and then Ty will get in the game as he usually does, right? Maybe even a little earlier, right? But to start off the game like that with the first team is more than just replace this guy, put in this guy. It's a whole thing, man. It's a whole continuity and chemistry from your voice to your steps to the way you say hi to pass right. It's a whole thing, and it takes more than just a week or two to get in sync with that.
100%. Kimberly, thank you for being in here. Brian, Mike, Patriot Life, Lisa. Who else we have? We have Tough as Nails. Eric, Dean, that is a great question. I'm going to dive into that, so stick around. I just trying to make sure this flows well. Chris, thank you for being in here as well. Texas fan saying I would play Milroe unless he says no. Completely agree, Chris. By the way, we're not doing the Bleach Report. I have y'all absolutely boat racing Arizona State. And let me be very clear here, Chris. I think Arizona State's done a lot of good stuff. I think Kenny Dillingham has done a phenomenal job. I think he is a really good coach. I think he deserves a lot of praise. I think they have some dudes on that team. But do I think that their offense is going to be able to go up against y'all's defense? I don't think so. I don't think so. Right? Like Texas's offense is good. It's inconsistent, but it's good. It has the ability to be a great offense. But that defense is great. Every time they touch the field, Coach Sean, that Texas defense is a joy to watch. If you enjoy X's and O's, I don't care who you're a fan of, unless you're an Oklahoma fan, because it's the same thing with us in Auburn. You're never going to hear me give Auburn their credit. So if you're an OU fan, I get you. But me, being a Bama fan, I can look at that Texas defense and what PK has done. Right? A lot of people saying, oh, you can't be from the Pac 12 and succeed in the SEC. PK's from the Pac 12, and he is orchestrating a beautiful defense with great players Jade Barron, Makuba, Anthony. So, Texas fan in here saying that. Thank you all for being in here. And Coach Al, wanted to get your take on this. Jalen Milroe. I've seen a lot of people online asking, and really not even asking. Asking would be too polite. They're saying, oh, he shouldn't play. We should go ahead and start preparing for next year. And I think that's completely off base, Coach, because in my mind, like I told Coach Sean, that's a guy who, when everything was crumbling at Alabama, he looked at the cameras and said, I'm staying. Don't worry about me. I'm staying here. I don't care if Caleb Downs leaves. I don't care if this guy leaves, this guy leaves. I'm staying here. I'm going to finish this. Well, damn it, you let him finish this. If he wants to play in this bowl game, you let him play because he was the heart of this team. I don't care if people are a fan of Milroe or not. Y'all know I'm a big fan of Milroe, but he has earned every right to go out however he would like to go out in Crimson. However that be, that's his decision. I'm glad that thus far I've heard nothing. Coach Al, what are your thoughts
Yeah,
on
I'm
that?
here. Yeah. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, I think he has a C over here
It's a fact.
on the jersey. I think at the capstone, and that C doesn't stand for capstone, it stands for captain. And I think that means something in Alabama. I think it does. I think it still does. You know, those of us who've been on teams, you know, it's not a participation contest to be named captain on a team
Fact.
that wins. So I'm old school like that. You finish what you start. If he's gonna wear the C, wear the C. Be that guy. Um, everything that you said, Ty, about him staying and sticking it through. I mean, to me, that's foreign these days in college football. Really, we should applaud a guy that does that. And as it relates, I see a lot of the Milroe haters out there. Let's see, that's 3 offensive coordinators in 3 years. Let's see, this is not Nick Saban's offense. Let's see, all new terminology, all new everything to process that and play at such a high level that he did. And as Nick Saban would say all the time, it's not just the quarterback that has to play well, it's the people around him have to elevate their games too. So yeah, he bears some onus, but what quarterback doesn't continue to learn? In fact, if you watch the Minnesota Vikings game and the Green Bay Packers game, how many times is number 18 targeted? People talk about how many times Ryan Williams, the pro game, they scheme the guys up to target them, the best guy. And you have to stop him, and that forces everybody else to get off kilter so you can open other things up. So you can't just put all the blame on Milroe. I hope he plays. I hope he plays well. I hope he stays healthy. I hope he continues to elevate people around him. And I hope he inspires some of the younger guys come in and show them what it means to give your word, what it means to give your all, what it means to go and become and develop the whole man, what it means to graduate in 3 years with 2 degrees, and get the academic Heisman. Oh, we forgot about that, didn't we? All right. So the guy's never been in trouble on the streets. You never heard anything bad about him. Who else would you want to be the captain and quarterback of your team? I don't understand that. So people can hate on him, and I hope he leaves. Okay. And I hope he does a Dak Prescott, a Jalen Hurts, goes to the league, gets drafted in the 2nd round or whatever, and just blow up. Okay. And get with an offensive coordinator that believes in him. So that's what I think about this young man. Love the guy. I love the guy. Okay, for everything he stands for and represents the script A, as he likes to call it. He always talks about representing the script A. So that doesn't excuse him of poor play and poor decision. But hey, what quarterback doesn't do that?
What quarterback doesn't?
Cousins, the guy over here in Atlanta, played how many years? 15 years. He just got pulled. But through what? Playing bad.
Yeah.
He's 15-year vet, making stupid mistakes.
The great Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers. I mean, so here's a guy that's had 3 offensive coordinators in 3 years, terrible offensive lines each year, and now he's learning all new schemes, all new playbook, everything. And guess what? He's the quarterback at Alabama. That's probably the most scrutinized position at quarterback in the country. What kind of pressure is that? Most people would crumble under that kind of pressure. He has thrived under pressure. So you ask me how I feel about Jalen Milroe, you got about another 5 hours, okay? Because these are the kind of guys that can play quarterback for me. They wrap tight between their ears, they tough as nails, and guess what? They got a high level of integrity. They're smart. All those things that builds character. So when you get down at 4th and 31, you can sit back there and sling that thing, okay? Walk off the field, okay? That's a quarterback.
That was beautifully said. That was excellent, Coach. I couldn't agree more. I genuinely, I have nothing else to add to that. I think you hit the nail on the head. We talk a lot about Jalen the quarterback, but Jalen the man. Second to
That's
none.
why the NFL teams are going to love him. That's why they're going to love him, because they say when this guy gets down, he doesn't fold. If you can be quarterback at Alabama, you're going to be under so much pressure 365 days out of the year, and everything you do is wrong because they want the backup to play. They've always wanted the backup to play at Alabama. Yeah, they've always wanted the backup to play at Alabama. When Jake Coker came here, Blake Sims couldn't beat Blake Sims out. All Blake Sims is chunk that thing down the field, Everybody wanted Jay Coker. Everybody wanted Jay Coker. Blake Sims was just bought. Nobody believed in it. He's a running back. Sounds familiar? And by the way, I think if you go back and look at the comps to Lamar Jackson when he was at
Right.
Louisville, okay. Oh, by the way, Jason Allen, when he came into the league, all he was going to do is look one read and tuck it. Steve Young had one of the best runs in NFL history on a scramble. He couldn't get on the field because he couldn't read defenses. He was a running quarterback. On and on and on. Randall Cunningham. I could just name the list over and again about guys who they say can't play quarterback. He can't read defenses until he gets the right coach that believes in him, that can school him in the finer arts of playing the position, which they will invest in him as an NFL quarterback. The guy has all the tools. He's wrapped tight between the ears, which is the first place a quarterback needs to be wrapped tight. And he got all the intangible skills. I mean, he got skills that you can't teach. And a lot of people are going to listen to this because Coach Al's out of his mind. Okay, all right, cool. I've been hearing it all my life. Look at those plaques on the wall. Look at that. Look at the success on the wall behind me. I've been hearing all that my whole life. What I can't do. You're too small. You're too little. You can't do this. I was all state. Yeah, that's right. I was all academic
Right.
American. That's right. All of that. Okay. In the face of what you say I can't do. So please keep telling him what he can't do. Please stop believing in this guy so he can go to the next level and prove all y'all wrong. That's what I think about a guy like Jalen Milroe. Okay.
We
I'm
heard
not
the
too
same thing
passionate.
about.
I'm not too
I'm
passionate
sorry,
about
my
him.
bad.
I'm not too passionate about him.
I
Not
didn't
at
know
all.
Gordon Ramsay was joining our stream tonight because this man straight cooked. Straight cooked, Coach. That was, like I said, I don't think, and Brian saying it, Keenafy saying it, Eric saying it, Kimberly
Hey man, look,
said it.
I done coach guys that's playing on the league right now. Coach Sean know that. I
That's
talked to my
right.
head coach from high school today, man. I was wearing one of my old jerseys, that we coach's jerseys that he gave to us years ago, and I texted him. We was just chopping up old times. Okay. But we know what good looks like.
It's a fact.
100%.
We
Hey,
know what it
there's
takes to win in July
It's
in
a
the
fact.
summertime on turf.
well,
Okay.
and then I understand there was inconsistency this year, but
Fact.
to me, I look at the Georgia game and I'm sitting there like, you can't tell me the dude can't read a defense. Like, yes, there may have been inconsistencies. Coach Al, to your point, that's because he had how many offensive coordinators in how many years? A total scheme change. And with that scheme change, it's not like the scheme change was like, hey, the blocking's going to be similar. No, you went from as far on one side of the spectrum to the opposite
Yeah.
side of the spectrum
Yeah.
you could go in terms of blocking scheme.
That's right.
That's tough.
Right. That's right.
That's tough for
That's right.
everybody, for running
Right.
backs, for linemen, for Jalen, for the offensive coordinator who's now working with these guys, for Kalen DeBoer, for the offensive line coach and being like, hey, this is a total different thing.
Right.
Jalen did a phenomenal job. I am so happy that he was the quarterback during this transition
Yep.
because we see other quarterbacks not have the GOAT retire, and they dip. And I'm not saying there's not legitimate reasons to leave and transfer. That is not my take here. I'm not saying, hey, you need to question the guy if he transfers. That's not it. I'm saying that we had a guy in Jalen Milroe have the greatest college football coach ever retire unexpectedly on a Wednesday.
On a Wednesday.
And Wednesday evening, he's telling everybody, I'm staying right here. You don't have to worry about me.
Wow.
I'm staying right here. How many
That's some
guys
business.
do you think that? Well, Coach Sean, Coach Al, Carl, how many guys do you think stayed at Bama because all of a sudden, when there's all this uncertainty, all of a sudden there is some certainty. All of a sudden, a leader on your team, and this isn't this right here. It goes to Jalen, but this isn't just for Jalen. I'm looking at Deontay Lawson. I'm looking at Jahad Campbell. I'm looking at Malachi Moore. I'm looking at Jalen Milroe.
Book.
All those guys who were leaders, they stayed.
Book stayed.
Book, yep,
Yeah,
good ones.
those guys stayed. Those guys
All
deserve to
stayed.
have their handprints in the concrete at Denny Chine. Those are the dudes right there. Everybody else, y'all can pound sand, kick rocks, leave.
They stayed, and that's what you love, right? Jalen Milroe has been an unbelievable player for Alabama, an unbelievable quarterback, and I think is a reason why whenever we were looking at Alabama this season, we were like, okay, because I remember I said 9-3 was a possibility. I didn't think people understood that there's going to be a massive change. I am sorry about those sirens, but what are you going to do? You're in the great outdoors. You're going to have to deal with it, right? That's nature. Uh, but one of the reasons we were like, hey, it could be 9-3 because there's so much new from coaching to scheme, or it could be 12-1, is because of a guy like Jalen. Dude torched Georgia, torched them. I understand it's not 2020, 2020, 2021, 2022 Georgia. That's a good Georgia team. That's a really good football team now. He torched them. I'm so happy with Jalen even this year. I just think that this year would have looked a lot worse for everybody. Torched LSU. Thank you, Keenafi. I just gave the Georgia example because that's a good defense, right? That's a good defense, really well coached. I mean, you got a Kirby coach defense. I don't care if they're full of first rounders. They're going to be well coached.
Yeah,
They're going to be on their P's and Q's.
that's right.
He torched them.
He's had 2 weeks to prepare. He's had 2 weeks to prepare for you. You got problems with those kind of athletes, those kind of pieces. He's playing chess. You're playing checkers. Okay. One other thing, talking about the quarterback position. You look at what happened last night in Washington with the Commanders and the Falcons. Okay, you look at that. And I live in Atlanta, and I watched the Falcons quite a bit. And the offense that they ran last night with Penix was totally different than with Kirk Cousins. Why? The mobility factor plays a role when you're an outside stretch team. That means you're stretching the field horizontally, not just with the actual full flow with the running back, but with the quarterback off the back end. Okay, the guy with the ability to move and roll out against this stretch. Okay, and he can get to different launch points and change the launch points and move the defense around just by mobility. Kirk Cousins couldn't. The offense looked totally different with Penix in the game. And oh, by the way, Jaden Daniels won the game with his feet, I think. I mean, when a guy can do that and extend against NFL caliber players with that type of mobility, agility, and an arm like that, that's the next level of the NFL game. They're all like that. Every quarterback in the league basically has those traits. So I don't understand why there are people out there that say he's the worst quarterback they ever played at Alabama. I don't understand that one. That's just pure emotion. That's just actually it's kind of hate actually, but it's pure emotion. I don't work like that. The tape don't lie. Okay. And the guy put good film on tape against adversity. And when he gets in the room with these guys and start talking football, start talking how to lead a team from the locker room, how to be exemplary on and off the field, they're going to love him. They're going to absolutely love this guy. Okay. So,
Coach, let's keep it real on some other stuff too.
yeah.
If we being honest, man, Jalen's coaching ain't been the best, man. It has not been the best. I mean, if you know it, and let me preface by saying this, and I'm not being disrespectful to my, but I got to throw this in there because it's a lot of people that don't know what they're watching. You know, I work with several people like this. They complain about Jalen. Well, he just got sacked. He don't know what he do. They don't have a clue what they're watching. They don't have a clue what they're watching. To look at a defense and understand what this kid is throwing into or a play. They don't understand a play that's being called and running it in a situation that's not favorable. They don't understand play calling to favorability of, you know what I'm saying, Coach?
Yeah.
They don't
How many
understand
sacks
that.
did Bryce take, Coach?
I got one exactly. And
yeah.
and let me give you another one. They said the same thing about Jalen Hurts. Jalen can't throw. You know what I mean? Jalen went to Oklahoma and threw for right at 4,000 yards, 38, 51, threw for 32 touchdowns, right? He had his best season at Oklahoma after being benched at Alabama, right? Almost a better season than Tua had, right? When you look at the stats. So coaching has a lot to do with this stuff, man. I'm telling you, Coach can tell you, Coach Carr can tell you, Ty can tell you. Coaching has a lot to do with it. Sure, every quarterback make bad plays here and there, but to say this kid can't play, you would feel totally bad if you take this kid and put him in Lincoln Riley's USC offense. You would feel totally bad about yourself, right? It would look totally different, right? Different offensive coordinator. Take this kid and put him on Ohio State's offense with Chip Kelly.
Wow.
I'm telling you, it would look totally different.
Give him
A
the
lot
Cliff
of time,
Kingsbury.
yeah, of course. Giving the Cliff
Well,
Kingsbury. Facts.
And
Facts.
I think Sheridan right now is probably a better quarterback coach than he is an offensive coordinator.
Play caller. Exactly.
Right? Like I
Exactly.
think that he's still figuring out his footing as a play caller. I do think that he can be a really good offensive coordinator. We saw spurts this year where it was like watching Picasso paint. The problem was is sometimes it looked like Picasso forgot how to paint. Right? Like when we wouldn't use the running backs. But you look at that first half against Georgia, and you tell me that he didn't architect magic outside of those two plays. One of them I didn't mind. One of them felt like the one cute play. It was like the flea flicker. I didn't mind that one because that to me felt like he was going for the dagger, where it's like if I land this, I'm sucking all the life out of this Georgia team because now we're hitting them with backyard football stuff. But then in that second half, things started kind of going a little bit different. We really didn't know what to do with that big lead. Do we keep our foot on the gas? Do we keep the pre-snap motion? Do we keep this? Do we keep that? Nobody here, ladies and gentlemen, is saying Milroe is perfect. We're saying he's probably overly criticized and doesn't get the recognition he deserves for being an exceptional leader for Alabama. And he's a really high potential quarterback. He's going to succeed in the NFL, but I do want to get to this right here. Patriot Life with the $20 saying, Roll Tide to everyone and best wishes for a happy new year. It's been a pleasure getting to know you guys and continuing in the future. Hashtag beat Wolverine's ass. Hopefully. Listen, I know, right? This is not a great Michigan team. They're okay. They're okay. They've had a lot of opt-outs. We're going to see how it looks. We're going to really start diving into this game. Brinsky, how you doing, my man?
What's going on, my brothers? How everybody doing?
Risky.
What's going on, Brinsky? Happy holidays,
I'm
my
sitting
brother.
out back talking football, smoking a cigar. It doesn't get much better than
Man, I'm
this.
telling you, you're doing it.
Man. Oh, you living a life then, my brother.
You're doing it.
Yeah, Ty chilling, man. What's going on, fellas?
You look like you're chilling,
What's up,
Ty.
Coach
That
Carl?
chair looks comfortable.
Doesn't get much better than this.
Do you
let me
have a
tell
drink
you
by
what.
your side?
So this is the crazy thing. I can count on one hand how many times I've drank in the last 15 years. Now, I took the Shady Mile sponsorship because my best friend and my brother-in-law tried the whiskey. And when they were like, oh, this is really good stuff, how much is it? And I told them how much they were charging. They were like, that's a great deal. I would buy that. I was like, okay, it's a good value. People that I know like whiskey tried it. They like it. And they said that's a great value, something they would be interested in. So I was like, hey, I trust those two guys. I'll take that sponsorship. I tried it, but I don't know good whiskey. You know what I mean? Like I couldn't tell you great whiskey from, I just don't drink that much. So I do have what I consider to be the king of all sodas. And I'm going to, hey, you want to talk about, you think we've had hot takes tonight. I'm about to set the internet on fire with this one. That bad boy right there. That Pib Zero. Let me tell you what. Let me tell you what. Let me tell you what. That's a bad boy right there. It's not that sweet. You can taste the I'm telling you, y'all go to Kroger, you go to Albertsons, you get you a Pib Zero. And either I'm sorry that I got you addicted to Pib Zero or I'm sorry you don't like it. Either way, I'm sorry. Right? It is what it is. We got our Michigan fan in here, Mike, saying it's almost time. Hey, listen. Last year we told Mike that Bama was going to win. They didn't. And he was gracious. He was gracious in victory.
Thank you.
I'm hoping it's a different outcome this year, Mike, but I'm very much looking forward to it, man. Hope your Christmas was good. Hope everyone's Christmas was good.
Thanks.
Guys, let's talk about this Michigan game, right? We've talked about Jalen Milroe, the leader. Brian said, I didn't know they still sell Pib. That's because of me. That's because of me. I'm keeping this market alive, man. You best believe that.
That's funny.
I'm telling y'all get you a Pib Zero. It'll change your life. We'll have you rethinking everything you ever knew. But let's talk about this game. Brinsky, I want to start with you. What are you looking forward to? Actually, you know what? Coach Carl, we start with you. What are you looking forward to in this Michigan game?
Me, personally, man, I think I just want to see what type of offense we come out with. If Nick Saban's still calling plays, or he gonna come back out with the same offense that he been running all year, or we gonna lean on our running game and get our running backs involved and run a little play action. That's my big catch about what we got going on. And I want to see what our backups look like on defense, knowing that you probably gonna have a few people that gonna sit out. I haven't heard of any right now, but they may not just be saying anything about it. But I'm thinking that we're probably gonna have somebody that's gonna sit out on defense, not to mention the guys that transferred. So we get a chance to see our other backups like Jaden Hale being practicing. So we get a chance to see some of our other receivers come in, get some reps, see just to see Jalen Milroe on offense. Let's see if he gonna be that guy that can do what we thought Kendrick Law was gonna do this year, turn into that X factor, that itch guy, that Jaden Waller we had. That's what we were missing on offense. We got all that talent, but we didn't have a Jalen Waller. Somebody that go across the middle, catch a ball, and call it six, say good night. But the offense wasn't predicated for that quick hit across the middle stuff neither. So everything that we was running was all deep pass down the sideline, deep cross the middle, deep damn posts, deep corner routes. So we didn't do anything quick hit. So let's see if the offense is gonna be a quick fire offense and a run offense. See what our offensive line do. See if our offensive line is gonna go out on top. You know, they've been talking all this big bullet ball all year. And then most of the game we got into the big game, they got bullied. So let's see if they're going to turn the table and go out and start playing physical football on both sides of the ball. Let's see if we're going to have a physical front on offense, physical front on defense, and then let's see what our linebacker going to do. That's what I'm intrigued about. See how we play the game. Are we going to play the game the same way we play the game all year long, or are we going to turn the table and get back to old style Alabama football, where we pound the rock and then we play actions? We stop the run game and turning you into a passer and make you beat us over the top. That's what I'm intrigued about right now.
we got some funny comments, but Mike Fort did have a comment that I did want to talk about that I think is cool. He said Alex Orgery is playing in this game, even though he's transferring. That's cool. Listen, that is cool, right? Like, hey, I might not be here, but you need me. Y'all were here for me. I'm gonna be here for y'all. I got nothing but respect for that. Brinsky, give me your thoughts on this.
I'm really just looking forward to see just Jalen one more time. More than likely, this is gonna be his last time going out there. Even though a lot of people don't want to see him play, which is crazy to me. Crazy. I was like, man, like you said, man, he was there when Nick Saban retired and everything was in shine. We thought everybody was just gonna transfer and leave out. He was the one of those main guys. Like, I'm here. It wasn't even no doubt in his mind where he was going. He was here. Day one. Wasn't no NFL draft or nothing like that. He wanted to be here. So I can't wait to see him get his respect from the real Tide fans that actually love him. I support any of the guys, man, that chose to be on this team, because that lets me know that you really wanted to be here, because there was plenty of opportunities for you to leave. So anybody that's on this team, I'm just happy that they are here. And it was multiple transfer portal times they could have left. So him, ready to see how Jalen Milroe do on the wide receiver end, because it looked like he's going to be there be there permanently, but I don't know. That's what the talk is. I think that would be cool because he definitely is different when the ball is in his hand. So he's definitely a playmaker. So that's another thing. I don't know if Jalen Hale's going to play. I haven't seen him run any routes. I only seen him just catch a ball, and that was about it. I didn't see him do anything. So that's another.
Hale's just working. He's just working out, which is great news. That's enough to get your teammates excited. Just seeing that guy, the way DeBoer has talked about him. I mean, DeBoer, I don't know what he was doing in the spring, guys. Whether he was out there making big-time plays or just being an ultimate teammate, but the way DeBoer talks about Jalen Hale, I mean, it gets you fired up, gets you ready to run through a brick wall. He's happy the guy's even out there working. He said he's out there with a smile on his face and is just great for the team. Unfortunately, he's not playing. Fortunately, he's back getting involved. That was going to be a big piece to this offense.
Yeah, man. So that's what I'm saying. It's those type of guys that you are just happy that you have on your team. They want to be here. And that's what I think that's dying in college football. And I think what's missing on a lot of these teams is that the development part. Yes, you're chasing the bag, but who's going to develop you the best too? You can get the bag, but make sure you're getting developed too, so you can get to eat the bigger bag, which is the NFL, especially if you're that talented. You don't want to stunt your growth just going anywhere else. So I appreciate them boys just even being here. The offensive line is going to be a tricky thing. I don't know who's starting at left tackle. I have no idea. I haven't heard anything. Don't know anything.
Caden's playing.
Who?
I think Caden is playing. I read what he was playing.
Oh, okay. That's major news right there. Because I thought he was just out completely. But cool. That he's playing defensive line. Matter of fact, just one guy I think I'm really, really intrigued in seeing. I want to see a lot of them. And that's Keon Keeley. It's one bowl games ain't like how they used to be anymore, especially guys subbing themselves out for the second half. No shot at Cam Ward. Even though it was planned, it's still weird, man. If you're gonna play, play. If you're not, don't. It's just weird to me. But Keon Keeley is definitely one of those guys I can't wait to see, and I know he's going to get a lot of reps in this game. And I think against this Michigan offensive line, it's his time to shine. We're going to see what he's going to do.
I love that. So 2 things, Coach Al, as I pass it over to you. First and foremost, shout out to Fort Payne, Alabama. You do Star English Center, right? Glad you're here. Hope you had a great Christmas. Truth, hope you had a great Christmas. I already told Chris, another Texas fan, I have y'all whooping up on Arizona State. And I like what Arizona State's done. I think Kenny Dillingham's proved to be a hell of a coach. They need to be very excited about him. They got some good players. Y'all's defense is so much fun to watch. That Texas defense is so much fun to watch. But, Coach Al, as I pass it to you, 2 things. One, is this a game where you look at a James Smith and you're like, hey, this might be a perfect opportunity for you to pop? And then 2, on the offensive side, I've had people ask me, hey, what do you think about Mbakwe moving to the offensive side? My thought process on it is simple. With the wide receiver coach we have now, he can teach Mbakwe how to run routes. Right? Maybe a former wide receiver coach we had from Alabama didn't excel in that.
No shots.
No shots.
No shots.
No shots.
Yeah.
But Coach Shepard can't. You can't teach that run after catch that Mbakwe has. And he is a star with the ball in his hand. So, Coach Al, walk me through your thoughts, man.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, Jeremiah Beeman. That name is one to watch in this game. This young man has quietly been working behind the scenes and getting better. He's a live body, a lot like Smith in the middle. So that's a shot. I'm just telling you, that to me, that guy has been waiting his time, getting healthy. He's had a full year to develop himself, grinding every day in practice. And now you get those extra bowl practices which are valuable for guys like him to get those kind of reps with the ones and get those real reps. And now you kind of see what you got. So you're gonna see him flash. Dane Smith obviously is a guy that once you kind of pair him up with the guy that's coming in from Florida, you know, I like the athleticism that we're going to get right there with all of those guys. Uh, as for Mbakwe on the offensive side of the ball, he's a guy that going to bring some physicality to that position, like a lot like Law was, because he was a DB. He had to go tackle running backs in the SEC. So you think he's going to be afraid to hit a cornerback and block him? You know, get physical. I see him on tunnel screens. I see him on slants. I see him on go routes to clear stuff out for Ryan to hit bench digs underneath and get Ryan the ball in his hand. I see him being that decoy because he doesn't have to think too much. He's got to clear out his own. I see him being used strategically in spot places like that. I see him with smoke screens, stuff like that, bubbles, those kind of, to get the ball in his hands in space with another guy, a third guy in space that is dangerous. So yeah, looking forward to him playing good. I'm looking for Rico Scott to pop. Rico is going to get a chance to get a lot of run, and I think he's been grinding. He showed when he got in the game, he did show some flashes when 10 threw him that intercept that touchdown. They hooked up, but he made the play on the ball. Want to see some more of that? So yeah, I think we got a shot with some young guys that. But certain guys I like. I like Bateman is one of them. He came in highly touted, but he got a little nicked up. He got behind. He got lost in the depth chart. But I think in this game, I think you're going to see him play some. You're going to see him get some run inside, and he's going to flash. I think that young man has a lot of potential.
Love it. And Coach Sean, as I pass it to you, we had a question earlier in the stream, and I started, but it didn't start. So I'm going to go back and find it. But it was Dean asking about wide receivers in the transfer portal. And I don't know whether he asked about a specific one or just asking if we could get some more. Let me see if I can find it right here. But what do you think about wide receivers in the transfer portal, Coach Sean? Or do you believe with the move that he was asking about Squirrel White? Whether or not Bama could get Squirrel White. What do you think?
I mean, I'm sure if they came with the right amount of funds, they could. But I'm a little different. I think we have enough wide receivers. When you look at everybody that's in our wide receiver room, man, it's at least 10 to 12 in there right now. Me and my brother Bear was talking about this the other night. We have plenty wide receiver talent. Trust me. I like to see us get more D linemen, more agile D linemen that can bend, just like Coach Al just talked about. We have enough wide receivers, to me, a plethora of wide receivers with Jalen Hill on his way back, with Isaiah Horton coming in, with Rico Scott, with Beasley still there, with Ryan still there, with Jeremy Bernard still there, with the receivers, with Amari Jefferson still there. Some of the receivers that's coming in from high school, Latier Brooks, Meadows, Cole Adams. I mean, we have plenty of receiver talent. We have enough, in my humble opinion, we have enough receiver talent. I think there's other positions that I would definitely be going after if it were me, right? As far as Michigan go, remember, man, in my opinion, this is still a team that run inside zone. This is still a team that's effective running inside zone. These guys inside zone 3x1. These guys, say what you want, but when you watch their film, these guys still do a great job of double teaming the defensive ends. These guys do a great job. Their guards do a great job of getting up to the second level. Sharon Moore, I watched. He actually has a video called second level blocking drills. And man, this guy, he is about his business when it comes to a blocking scheme. Michigan is still effective. It's a reason. It's a reason they beat Ohio State. Sure, they have several people that's out, a couple of people that's out, but a lot of those guys weren't even starters. I know they got the running back Edwards. I think his name is Edwards. I think he's out. The other guys out, but make no mistake on the defensive side of the ball, man. They're talented. Their blocking scheme and their scheme is still their scheme. They're going to run it. This is still a team that runs dagger. You know what I mean? They're very effective running daggers. You don't have to be a super Peyton Manning-esque quarterback to throw a deep dig in a post. You know what I mean? So, you know what I'm saying, Coach Al? This
You're
is
right.
still a
Those are two of the easiest passes to throw, man. I mean,
thank
a
you.
post
Thank
batter, just throw it, let him go get it.
just to let him go get it.
Yeah.
Thank you. So this is still a team that you have to play, man. Don't make no mistake. Don't think you're just gonna walk out there and it's still Michigan. These guys are gonna play hard. And what I like about Sharon Moore is he knows exactly who he is. They don't try to get out of their box, right? And they're gonna be fundamentally sound in the 7-man box. Please believe that, man. So you got to play football against these guys. I want to see us, as far as us concerned. I don't want us to go out trying to be too cute, man. Let Jalen be Jalen. But I think we need to really, really, really set the tone for next year by letting Jam be Jam. Don't take this opportunity from Jam. Get Jam on the field and give him some Mark Ingram carries. Let that kid get into a rhythm of the game. I'm biased to running backs, and I don't say a lot about it because my affinity for the position is you all know my affinity for that position. Let that kid get in the rhythm of this game. Don't be like last year and be scatterbrained all over the place. You out coaching yourself, trying to be too cute, running pre-snap motion, and you're not even attempting to throw the ball in the flash. Just please line up and play sound, fundamental football. If you do that, Alabama would be effective. Alabama will be effective. Don't let Nick Sheridan get out there and do things that we hadn't done all season. Just line up and play football, man. And I promise you, Alabama will be just fine. Alabama will be just fine. No excuses this game. Really quickly, a quick side note. I know we moved on from Jalen Milroe, but this kind of flows into this conversation. When you look at certain things like pivot routes,
Coach, you have free reign to talk about whatever.
Yeah, I appreciate you, brother. Something like a shark route. We call it shark, pivot, high school. Terminology is all different.
What route?
Yeah, wide receiver releases one direction, 180-degree turn, goes back to right. If the receiver don't get enough depth, right, or on a timing like that, it'll make the quarterback look like he don't know what he's doing. But it's the receiver that didn't run a precise route. So a lot of times that is what's happening. Jalen's just not the quarterback that's gonna fuss at the receiver in front of the camera, right? A lot of times wide receivers didn't get a lot of depth on certain plays. It's not how you practice it. You don't run it how you practice it, and that's what happens, man. So we just got to go out and be fundamental. I really think Coach DeBoer need to get back and really drill fundamentals into these guys. And from what the practices look like, it looked like that's what they were doing. I'm really anxious to see these guys, man. I'm really anxious to see these guys. Even for me, just for me, even more than wanting to see the young kids, I want to see Alabama put together an aggressive play script. I want us to come out and be physical, man. I don't want to see us all over the place. And it's like the offensive coordinator still trying to find himself in the 13th game of the season. Man, just line up and play football, man. Line up, take what they give you, and play physical football. That's all I want to see. That is all I want.
Yeah. One thing about Michigan, Coach, they are not going to panic. They are not going to panic. They're not going to overcoach it. They're going to be exactly who they are, and you just going to have to beat them. But they sound. They just going to get them what they do, man. And that's what they did so good last year, man. They had those upperclassmen, and they knew what they wanted to get in, especially on defense. They got
Great
in
film
it, man.
study guy.
Yeah, they got in it, man. They're going to force you to adjust to them. If you don't adjust, they just going to squeeze you. They just did not panic last year. Even when we played them last year, they just did not against anybody. They didn't panic against Michigan. Ohio State.
Remember this too, Coach Al. This is a team, man, that really say what you want to about their offensive year or whatever you want to call it. We know they hadn't been just super duper explosive. This is a team that defensively held Ohio State to 10 points the entire game at Ohio State. Defense, right. And remember the game they played against Ohio State, they had several kids that was out, that was hurt in that game, man. So this is a team that has really, really good coaches. These guys do a great job of film study. Sharon Moore and his team, they do a great job, Coach Al, of studying their opponent. They've had time to see what we do well, just like we've had time. And we'll see what happens.
That's right.
100%. We have another Michigan fan in here, James Monroe. James, welcome. You might be in enemy territory, but you are completely welcome. Love to hear you and Mike talk about what you're excited for going up against Alabama, what you're concerned about going up against Alabama, right? That's the fun of this, right? We're just all giant football fans. Yeah, you're in enemy territory, but we need to get our lick back because y'all got us last year. We'd really like to return the favor. I don't care who y'all have out because Coach Sean's right. Coach Sean is right. I've been very impressed with Sharon Moore. I'm very impressed with him. Young coach, but Coach, you hit the nail on the head. There's something key, not only in football, but in life, okay? And that's self-awareness, okay? If you don't know who you are, one, how can you improve? You don't know where to start. You don't know what you're deficient in. But more importantly, how can you prep? He knows who they are. He knows where they're deficient. He knows where they excel. They haven't had the greatest year, but they also lost a lot of guys to the NFL. Their offense this year was all over the place. You had a coaching change. I'm never worried if you're all over the place during a coaching change. If you're ever going to be all over the place, that's the time to kind of have your inconsistencies. But what you did see, especially in that Ohio State game, you don't think Ohio State wanted that game?
It's a fact.
They knew what that game meant because I'm going to tell you all this right here. What if Ohio State would have, they lost to Michigan, but what if they would have lost to Tennessee? The narrative about Ryan Day would be not good at all. Even though he's won a lot of games, they wanted that Michigan game. They wanted that Michigan game real bad, and Michigan beat them at home. It's a sound football team. I'm not saying it's last year's Michigan football team, but there are certain teams that you'll play that will lay down. You'll punch them in the mouth and they'll lay down. They're not going to lay down.
Nope.
Texas showed that. You got to keep punching them, right? You got to keep going. Bama needs to be sound. So my analysis is going to be very basic. If you're Alabama, you need to be sound.
Yeah.
And someone said it earlier, I believe it was Keenafy, that Bama has been unsound. And I don't attribute that to just Kalen DeBoer. Because with Nick Saban, they were 119th in penalties.
Yeah.
This is not a new issue. This is an issue that has been around for 3 years. You've had the time. You've prepped for Michigan. They've been prepping for you. There's no excuse not to be sound in this game. Because if you walk into this game like Bama walked into OU, thinking they're going to lay down because we're Bama, we're going to hit them early, what happens when you get hit? And now all of a sudden you're looking around thinking, okay, well, this isn't how I thought this was going to go. And next thing you know, it's 24-3. And you're sitting there like, well, this is not how we had planned this game. Bama, when Bama's playing their best, I'm not saying they could beat every team in the country, but they could play with every team in the country. Every single team in the country. When Bama's playing their best, they could play with every team in the country. Once again, if you're a fan of Oregon, if you're a fan of Texas, if you're a fan of Ohio State, I'm not saying that it's a guaranteed dub. What I'm saying is it's a football game, and a damn good football game, one that we'd all be blessed to see. Like that Georgia game. It's a damn good football game. One that we were all blessed to see. But Bama has been inconsistent, and that's been the bane of Alabama this year. When they're good, they're great. When they're bad, and it's not even that it's bad, it's almost confused, right? Like they get punched, and then they're looking around like, what the hell just happened? He wasn't supposed to hit like Deontay Wilder. We thought we were boxing Jake Paul. Next thing you know, we get hit with that overhand, and your eyes get big, and you don't know where you are. Bama needs to, 1, weather the storm. 2, play sound football. And this is a great opportunity to continue developing guys like a James Smith, who I think is going to be a hell of a defensive lineman. I think that's your next one. That's your next one. This is an opportunity for Alabama to, one, get their revenge on Michigan for Michigan taking them out of the playoffs last year. Get your lick back. And what a way to finish the season. They need that stamp. And right on cue, we have our resident Bama Buckeye. And listen, you got it, because y'all whooped Tennessee's ass.
Took them to the woodshed.
Oh, boy. Ebony in here saying the Ohio State Buckeyes will not lose any more this season. Muck again. Tomorrow is personal. We must win. Roll Tide. Oh, I know it's personal for you. Doubly so. Hope you're doing well. Hope your Christmas was well. Go ahead.
Let me say this to Coach Al. Coach Al, you appreciate this. Coach Carl might not. Coach Carl was a defensive guy. Even though he's an offensive guy now. When I watched that Ohio State game again, I do like and this, Michigan is not they're not a Tennessee. They don't try to spread you out like that consistently. They don't do a lot of exotic things. You know what I'm saying? They'll run a couple of pre-snap motions here and there just for coverage indicators, things of that nature. But Coach Al, I like the fact that they read the box. Like, for example, what's a good example? Like, if you try to go 4 over 3 in the secondary, right? You know how you try to put numbers to the secondary. Right. I noticed that, and let's just say I saw Ohio State using their linebacker as the fourth defender, right? These guys automatically ran a screen. He automatically checked off to a screen, quarterback draw, right? Depending on how he read the box, right? A lot of Boise State-esque. Boise State do that a lot too. So this is not a prolific offense, but it's a very, very smart offense, man.
That's right.
These guys are gonna take what they give, and you, like Ty said, you got to be sound with these guys because they can turn small things into big plays. Very physical people, man. Seriously.
Yeah, I agree, Coach. Because one thing about Michigan is the thing about this: they're going to come in with the attitude, let's just not beat ourselves.
Thanks.
Okay, we're not going to try to match their tempo. We're not going to do that. We're going to do who we are. Just don't turn the rock over and turn them over. That's what they're going to do. And they do bring some pressures, Michigan with their defensive front. They're not going to change up what they do up front. They do a lot of movement up front because they knew we had some problems this year. So they're going to keep on doing it, even with the young guys. Right. I mean, guess what? They repping it every day in practice. Just because they're not starters, that don't mean they don't know the scheme. They don't know the fits. They're going to keep doing what they do. Okay, so let's put it this way. We've all been guilty as coaches of overtime in a big game. We think it's a big game. We overcoach it. And screw our players and slow them down. It's not going to happen here, man. Sharon Moore played the championship game last year. This guy knows what it's all about. And guess what? He was under a guy that went to Los Angeles with the Chargers and made them a playoff team in their first year. Don't you think he picked up some game from that dude on how to play in big games? So the pedigree is there with this team. The what's the word, Coach, we like to use? The character of this team or the essence of the team or who you are. They know exactly
who you are.
Culture, that's the word I was looking for, Ty. Thank you. They know exactly. So what we have to do, okay, we have to let Jam eat. We have to let Richard Young eat a hammer. We got to bring him down here. He's a one-cut guy. Okay, he ain't gonna dilly-dally. He gonna pound the rock. Now, this is what I really like about this. Our chances, because I'm an offensive guy. Look for some play action in our scheme this year. With Richard Young, he's a different guy. Richard Young's hungry. Okay. And Richard Young's going to come in there running angry. All right. That's going to actually help Jam. Okay. Because if Richard Young come in and pound that thing, then Jam is going to be the guy. Jam's probably going to get 20 carries. Richard probably going to get about 15. I promise you, in this game. Okay. In the fourth quarter, Jam going to be running wild. Okay. And that's going to set up the play action over the top with some deep shots. I promise you, man. I'm telling you. With this game, because that's what Jalen does the best anyway. Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. So we're gonna do what we did best all year long. It's just that we didn't run the ball quite enough.
You hit the nail on the head, Coach. I think you want to talk about Jalen, what he does best. You want to put a defense really confused? Play action. We needed more play action.
Right.
Because if you look at the wide receivers, Ryan's gonna beat you. It's not a matter of if, it's when.
Right.
Jeremy's gonna beat you. It's not a
Right.
matter of if, it's
Yeah.
when.
Yeah.
You get those safeties creeping up, and you're that was such great analysis, Coach Al.
So
Because
here's the other piece right here, Coach. The I forget the kid's name. His name is our tight end. Not Oops.
Cuevas Dupree.
Yeah, him.
Dupree.
Him. Yeah, I love it. I love, man. I'm telling you, if they play cover two, look for him down the middle. I'm telling you. I am straight up telling you, Cuevas is gonna have a big game against this team. He's set up for it. He's gonna be the guy next year. Already set up. I'm telling you. So
The one thing you gotta make sure though, Coach Al, is you gotta block that Michigan front. Because if you can't block that Michigan front, no matter what all we talking about, man, none of it's gonna work.
right.
So it's all stars in the trenches. If we don't stop, we don't block those two damn defensive tackles.
They're not playing, but they've still got great edge rushers.
Yeah, and still, but they got two defensive tackles that play behind them. Because I done seen when they done brought 55 out, they put the little freshman kid, and the freshman kid seeing a lot more explosive. They got young, fresher legs. So they're gonna be hungry to get their names. That NIL money they paying out. Those boys want to get a portion of the NIL money. I'm telling you, you don't stop them two defensive tackles. And I haven't seen in years, man, like been watching Michigan football. I haven't seen Michigan fall off at D tackle in years. Like they just like, I don't know what it is about that D line coach. It's like he breed D linemen. Like defensive tackles, they keep them coming. This year they was a little bit weak on the edge because after Hutchinson and all those kids left, they didn't really have tough edges this year. But the edges are still solid. Just telling you, pay attention to Michigan D line. There's no way you can tell me Michigan D line the backups are not as good as the starters.
That's right.
When you hold Ohio State down to 10 points, you had to have some subs at some point.
Right.
And I watched the Ohio State game. Here's the kid came off the sideline. That kid seemed like he was better than Graham. That kid was so athletic and so agile. He's like a James Smith, like he's just hard to block.
Right.
And he was getting after the quarterback, man, and he was causing havoc. Pay attention. Everybody be talking that nonsense. Same thing I'm gonna say about Michigan. I said about Ohio State. I mean, Oklahoma. That's a blue blood school.
Yep.
They have kids up there for a reason. And they're not going to fall off, no matter how bad they fell the wagon this year because of the offense and the new coaching staff. And a lot of kids left for the NFL because they played a lot of seniors last year. Those kids programming themselves for next year. And they're going to come out and they're going to be ready to play. If we take them for granted, Michigan going to fuck around and whoop us. I'm just telling you now. If you take them for granted, it's gonna be another OU type of game. We took OU for granted. We took Vanderbilt for granted. Yeah, they even take Tennessee for granted. They leading Tennessee at halftime, came back, took Tennessee for granted. Tennessee came back and beat their ass. Same thing that happened at Georgia. You cannot take a team for granted. I don't give a damn if you playing Western Michigan. They're still a college football team on the other side of that ball. You don't take nobody for granted.
Right.
And if the board plays the same way he played the other three teams, man, we're gonna be in trouble. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
I think it's an identity thing, man. I think it's an identity thing. I think it's so, when I watch it, Coach Al, you tell me if I'm wrong. To me, it seems like we and I know every game is sort of an experiment. You're seeing what works. You're seeing, you're matching your film study with what you're seeing them do. But to me, man, it's like it's almost like we're not confident from a coaching perspective as far as competent play calling. And what makes me believe that is sometimes it was up, sometimes it was down, sometimes it was up, sometimes it was down. It's like when we got into certain down and distance situations, we just didn't have a surefire. I always had a couple of plays in my back pocket that I would go to in dire situations, down and distance, right? And that's high school level. So I'm knowing these guys got to do the same. And I can remember, I listened to a lot of Mike Leach stuff, and Mike Leach used to talk about, you can tell the teams that's unprepared because they just all over the place. It's like scatterbrain. They don't know what to call. They just calling stuff. You're calling plays just to be calling them instead of calling them as in a diverse, as opposed to what the defense is running. So You know, that's what I want to see. I want to see the continuity between play caller and down and distance on the field. That's what I can't wait to see.
Yeah.
Well, listen, Coach Sean, you want to know what I think it was? Honestly, the more I've gone back and rewatched, we told everybody at the beginning of this year that the SEC is different. Okay. Now, why did Texas come in here and do well? Coach, what did you say about Texas week 3? You said, I don't know who's the best team in the nation right now. Maybe this was week 4. You said, I don't
Texas is
know.
playing the best.
And that they were playing the most consistent.
Consistent, yes.
That is a nod to Sark. Sark knew
Yeah.
this SEC landscape and said,
Yes.
hey, you got to be consistent. And people are saying they listen, I agree. I don't think Texas had a gauntlet schedule. But guess what? They beat Vandy. It was a good game. That was a really good game. Vandy's a good team this year. That scheme is a pain in the ass to stop. Right? Whenever we had Connor Yeager on the channel, he broke it down. The team that had recruited the worst in the last decade in the Mountain West had the 3rd most wins. Why? They ran that same scheme. It punishes you if you don't play perfect. But they were also consistent. They beat OU. They beat Vandy. Right? Like they played consistent football. So Coach Sean, you were on this early. Sark came into the SEC already understanding this landscape from having been under Saban in the SEC. He knew. I don't care who were the 2 teams, Coach Sean, because I know people are saying they had the softest schedule they'd seen. And I'm not saying they had a gauntlet. I do think that playing in Fayette-Nam, especially Texas playing in Fayette-Nam, that's a bit of a rivalry game. That's a tough out. And Arkansas had some players this year. They did, at truth, you are right. You did schedule Michigan. Michigan early in the season didn't really know who they were. Still not a great Michigan team like they had last year, but it's fine, right? It's a good team. But Coach Sean, you said 2 teams, week 3 or 4, that former Bama players would talk about, and everybody thought you were crazy. You said Mississippi State, Kentucky. Everybody thought, oh, he's crazy. What you were speaking on was the fact that you have to be ready every Saturday in the SEC. Sark was. DeBoer and company weren't. They learned the hard way that this is not a league that you can just practice on what you do and slot in a little bit of what they do. You got to know what they do. And if you don't, that's what's going to happen to you. It's a great lesson to learn year 1. I have complete faith that it will be fixed because Kalen DeBoer is a competitor. The guy wins. He doesn't want to lose. But you were on this week 2 or 3, Coach Sean. In the SEC, you have to be consistent. And you said week 4, I don't know who the best football team is in the nation right now, but Texas is playing the best and they're really consistent.
Yeah.
We weren't. Point blank, period.
It's a fact. That's a whole fact. So
Goose with the $4.99 saying joined late. Aren't 2 of Michigan's defensive tackles opting out? Yeah, Goose, they have some players opting out. Still a talented team. Well coached. Should be a good game. Should be a good game. Bama can't sleep on them. Bama better be playing them as if it's Michigan last year. That's what I'm
going to say. Look at it this way.
Yep.
Look at it this way, Goose. Look at it if Tim Keenan opt out and Tim Smith opt out. You still got James Smith. You still got all these different guys. You still got Jordan Reed-Howard. You still got all these different guys. So their starters may have, but it's Michigan, bro. They have defensive line talent. Coach Carl just spoke to it.
Yep.
They have defensive line talent, man. Please don't let that deter you from them getting the job done.
You know, Coach Sean, Coach Carl, you know, Michigan, we keep saying it over again. They're going to do what Michigan does.
It's a fact.
All right. So what's happening? So we practicing from late July, sometimes early August. Now we're in December, and we practicing the same thing. We practice the same scheme, the same calls, the same reps. Everybody's getting the reps, man. Michigan moves. Their defensive line, they have a lot of games up front, a lot of stunts up front. If you can't handle that, you're gonna have problems because they're gonna keep calling the same thing, man. They recruit the same dudes. Before Nick Saban got there, a lot of people don't realize Bama was very average, but Bama was still a tough out because guys came to Bama. They were SEC guys, you know. So I mean, people don't remember. A lot of people don't remember that because the last 17 years kind of clouded, what people think about Alabama. They think that Alabama was always Nick Saban. No, Alabama was Mike Dubose, Price. They were those
Frank
guys.
Stone.
Yeah, man. I mean, so Michigan is going to come out with the attitude they have nothing to lose and everything in the game. And their coach is confident in what he does. The guy has a winning mentality. I told you guys that before. My wife cautioned me years ago about a coach that I coached with. He left and went to another team. She said, don't underestimate the guy out. He has a winning mentality. I had a bunch of studs on my team. But guess what? They gave us a fight. They had to go win the game. There's a such thing. You play the game, coach. You know that. You put your shoes on, you lace them up just like he do.
It's a whole fact.
And when you line up, the game within the game is real. In fact, that game is more real than the real game. If you play it. Okay. I just want people to know that. We can't come in and just walk in just because we're a 14-point favorite, 13.5-point favorite. Think that we just gonna walk.
I don't give a damn what Vegas says.
Yeah.
Vegas said we were a 14-point favorite versus Vandy and Oklahoma.
We should learn by that already.
Yeah.
We should learn.
Exactly.
This game is important to both teams because, man, listen, Michigan to me was only missing a QB. This team beat Ohio State for the fourth year with practically, I'm not going to say without a QB because their quarterback played well, but this is one of this Michigan team is the one you would pick that shouldn't have won, if you want to say it that way. And they
Very
did.
true. Very true.
They did. It wasn't by luck. They were physical up front.
That's right. That's
They,
right.
They didn't go out, just like Coach Al said. They didn't go out and spread them out 5 wide. No, they were physical up front, 12 personnel, very, very fundamental in the offensive approach, and did what they usually do. They slowed the game down, right? Ohio State only had 10 points? I think it was 13-10. So listen,
and we
man,
just saw what they did to Tennessee.
Yeah.
And think about that, Coach Sean. Shit, Ohio State, if it wasn't one big catch from Jeremiah Smith, they scored 3. And Michigan shut Ohio State down, man.
That's a fact.
They literally shut them down, and then they missed a lot of plays because they were just running a vanilla offense. They missed.
Secondary was physical. Secondary was physical, bro. Them stunts dominated. Yeah, those stunts gave Ohio State was having some issue with their O-line anyway. Those stunts gave them fits.
Right. That's what they do. That's who they are. And what accentuates that are big talented guys that they have up front. Coach Carr said it. They got some big guys. They recruit the same kind of dudes to play that position to get that kind of production out of that position. That's the whole idea of recruiting. That's the whole idea of recruiting to your scheme. Okay,
what's the best part about the Big Ten? A lot of people don't pay attention to. Big Ten, man, they just a physical of the SEC. And in certain parts of the trenches, I think they more physical than us in the SEC. Because they come harder. Man, I don't give a damn if it's hot weather, cold weather. The Big Ten ain't laying down, man. That top 3 in the Big Ten, like you got Ohio State, Michigan, and Penn State. That's their top 3. I know Oregon come in this year and dominated because their speed is something different. But that big 3 from the solid front 3s that they got in there, they don't bullshit, man, with that D-line. They ain't playing no games with them linebackers. They trenches are something different. That front 7 in the Big Ten, they come to play. Now, Oregon got their speed. Oregon caught them a little bit off guard with their speed. But I don't really think that speed gonna matter when it comes down to Wednesday. I don't think that speed Oregon got gonna even matter Ohio State. They're gonna have to do something different. Because if they can't man up and handle Ohio State's in the trenches, Oregon gonna lose that game. They got to do something different.
So
you know what I think? One thing the Big Ten do better than the SEC. Now, I think the SEC's offensive schematics are better than the defensive than overall. You know, it's a lot of Oregons in our conference, but I do say this: I think the Big Ten tight ends block better than the SEC tight ends. I think they're asked to do jobs that our tight ends are not asked to do on a regular basis.
Right.
They have a lot of tight ends in abundance in that conference that don't mind. They have a lot of Robbie Ooch type guys in that conference that don't mind putting their nose in there and just block doing that the whole game. You know, I don't got to catch a pass. Just let me go out here and destroy somebody, in line. That's it. They have a lot of tight ends in that league that can block. I will say that. Lynn Shannonfield can appreciate that. Lynn, I noticed that they have a lot of tight ends in that league that are tough guys.
Mike, see what Mike Ford saying, Coach? See what Mike was saying? He was saying that Ohio State kept running it up the middle where they had what Michigan had 2 top 15 defensive linemen. Well, if that's their scheme to try to pressure you with inside pressure, what happens with a quarterback when you got guys pressuring him up the middle and at his feet, that gets him to get his eyes down. So they're going to do that to Jalen. Okay, so to me, what's going to happen? I think that's where guys like Jam Miller and Richard Young are really good, because Jam's a really good outside zone guy. Okay, and Richard's a good one-cut guy. But what that does is it also sets up Jalen to be a strength too, because you got the zone read off of that. Okay, so if you tacked in the edges with these guys, if they're strong, I don't care if they stun up the middle. We run a zone. That kind of cleans up a lot of that stuff. We slingshot guys across, right? So if we can take the edge off of it, that sets up a lot of big inventory plays that we can run. We don't have to get real exotic. Okay,
yeah, facts.
We just force them to get out of what they do, and what they got to do now, they got to stunt differently now. Instead of twisting it and a lot of that kind of stuff, they got to start stunting slants. They got to start stunting the field, stunting to the boundary, and then bringing guys scraping on the backside to take away the zone read kind of action. So that's what we have to look at doing. If they want to do some stuff in the middle, fine. We'll just zone you off. We'll slingshot guys across and clean you up and get to the edge. So that's kind of where I see it's playing out.
But the bigger problem with that, right? We can run zone. They can run zone, outside zone, inside zone, but long with them stay away from the D tackle. Okay, so you run inside the edge or you run outside the edge. The problem with Nick Sheridan, once the zone started working, Nick Sheridan get to the point where he want to start running script.
You gonna run the zone, Coach Dawg.
You can run the zone. You can run the zone. Now he see the zone running. He's doing the zone work. Now he gonna take his time and say, okay, since the zone working, let's see can we run a script.
Yeah,
it don't make sense. It don't make sense. If you're gonna run zone, you zone them. You can't stop the zone. Once you start bringing up extra guy from this, make safety coming in, put 8 and 9 in the box. Now we start play action. No, he won't play action from the zone. He gonna play action from spread. Like he gonna run spread offense. Then gonna try to play action in the spread. You got them sucking up in the boxes. You got too many people in the box. Now you run your play action. Nick Sheridan's not going to run play action. I'm telling you. Nick Sheridan's going to turn around and start stretching it. He's going to run the boundary side of the field, and he's going to want to start stretching it. You can't run stretch against Michigan defense. Michigan has a fire defense. They're going to fire. They always cross-face. They cross-face fire, and they're saying the stunts and the twists. You ain't going to run no stretch on that defense because their whole mentality is to get in front of the damn offensive line. They want to beat you to the point. That's why you run zone against it. Because I can send my offensive line one direction. You're going to try to beat them direction, and then we can zone you off behind it, put you one-on-one with a tight end.
Yep.
Lead blocking. See, we can do that. That's all.
So split zone going to work is what you're saying, Coach. The split zone is going to work because if we zone it and we split zone it off the back, that's going to clean out that one cut back.
So See, we don't have that pound you down.
That's Richard Young all day, though, Coach. That's
what he does. That one cut. He's that one cut and
one
go.
Cut dude, man.
One cut and you better catch it.
Jam Miller
is that quick itch outside guy with that speed. And Richard Young got power, one cut, and speed. You don't just line up. You don't have that guy like Justin Hayes was the guy that you just hand the ball, get them 2-3 yards, them hard yards. He in Michigan now. So instead of going out here playing all this cutie pie, this pretty football, you want to make everybody feel like they some damn princesses, or they walking down the runway with their nice clothes on. You know, they got on their apple bottoms or whatever, walking down the damn runway. Instead of doing all this pretty boy stuff, man, they just line up, play hard nosed football. Let's play SEC versus Big Ten football. We're gonna come back here, we're gonna smash you like SEC football, and then we get you bagging up. Okay, we're gonna run your ass on the ground. If you keep pressing and pushing and coming in there, you gonna bag us up, then we can throw the ball on top of your head. That's what the speed come in at. All that other crap, man, it's just too much. And I don't get it. All this tight ass damn jogger pant wearing, you know, they want to put on them damn pink shoes or whatnot. Them pink mouthpiece hanging out their damn mouth like they're going to a damn fashion show. Shit, you might well just dress them up some damn drag queen in that case. Play football, man. Play SEC football. Stop all this soft crap. All we gotta do is just get back to playing hard on SEC football. You don't see Texas going out there playing that soft ass football. They come out there and they play. Georgia don't play that soft ass football. They line up and they play here. Vanderbilt didn't play that soft ass shit.
Vandy definitely didn't.
Vandy came out there and punched you in your damn mouth, man.
Coach, I didn't know DC Curry was in the house.
DC all the way.
I didn't know DC Curry was in the
man. It
sound like DC Curry.
It's to the point, Coach. I will tell you no lie. Eric, the more and more I go back and watch film, I watch film again about Florida the first half of the season, how they playing that damn pretty girl shit. I watched LSU play that pretty girl shit. You watch Auburn in the first part of the season, they playing that pretty girl shit. When Auburn lined up and started running the ball physical, Auburn started winning damn games. When Florida started damn man in the trenches, running that ball hard and over down the field and gave DJ Ladd with the ball where he can hand that sucker off and start running that them damn play action and start throwing that shit deep down the field, Florida started whooping for her ass, man. Miami played that pretty boy shit. They run the score up on you, but they can't stop a nosebleed. You give Miami a pill to stop diarrhea, they won't even take it. I'm just saying. That's what type of damn team Miami is. We doing the same thing. When we play against Vandy, we did the same damn shit. Vandy gave our ass diarrhea, and we didn't even want to go in there and get the stool softeners. Man, just go to halftime, take the stool softeners, and then we come out here and beat Vandy's ass. I mean, that's all you gotta do.
You know, my old coach, Coach Connor, used to tell us in the run game, he was like, y'all act like y'all running on, I'll just say breasts. He used the T word. Y'all like y'all running on, you know what I mean? He say, the running game is just like baking the cake. He stopped practice, man. He said, the running game is like baking the cake. We was like, baking the cake. When you bake a cake, you don't just put the cake in there and it's done as soon as you put it in there. You got to bake it and be patient with it. It's going to, fluff up. And it's gonna be a cake, and just be patient with it. You know what I mean? So that's how the running game is, man. And don't be, for God's sakes, bro, don't be afraid to throw my favorite route in the history of football, right? If these guys come out and happen to line up in single high safety, and the safety is aggressive, don't be afraid to throw the post corner. Don't be afraid to throw it. That's the best route ever known to man. I vote post corner. I love the post corner. One of my players is in here, and he'll tell. I used to shout this to high head, and I'd be mad when we call these plays that don't involve post corners. I'm mad. You know what I mean? They got single high safety. The safety is over aggressive. He trying to kill our receivers. Man, let's run the post a few times. Then let's come back and hit the post corner on him, man. He gonna bite. He's gonna bite, right? The film study tells us he wanted an interception. So every time we run the post, he hopping that thing. He trying to come downhill, right? The running game has already got him antsy, right? He already inching up. Don't be afraid to throw the post corner, please. Just one time. Jeremy Bernard can run it. Get you one of these receivers that get out of his break quick. Sell that post and run the post corner, man, and run the score up, and let's get this win. Go ahead.
And like I said, Coach Sean, the thing that kills me, right? When we had Lane Kiffin, we had Sark. What did we beat teams with? All those crosses, man. If you run those crosses, those safeties are gonna have to sink. Because if you running this stuff in front of their ass, they're gonna have to sink. And as soon as they take a bite and want to jump, we had all those deep passes on top. Devontae Smith running down the sideline by himself. You can send, man, it's so much stuff that you can do offensively. Like this year, my first year offensive side. Man, I've seen so many plays on the offensive side that you can run on, and I mean, you can't stop it. There's no way you can stop. You can't stop all these outs. You can't stop all these Ds. You can't stop all these crosses. You can't stop all these posts, the post corner, the back shoulder throws. It's damn near impossible. You get a quarterback with arm strength like Jalen Milroe, and somebody coming flash across his face on a quick slant, and he can't hit a damn quick slant. How many quick slants we ran this year?
Not many.
How many bubbles we ran this year? How many crosses we ran this year? What kind of miss have we run this year? Every team that beat us, they cross our asses up, and then they be wide on free come across the middle. They miss you. They run to you. They quick misses you, and then they run across the middle. Or they pressing you hard. Boom! They stop deep in and out routes. You open.
I say this too, Coach Carl. When you look at the pass, and I'm just speaking to what you said about our pass receivers, we had receivers then that understood depth. You know what I mean, Coach Al? They understood how to attack the top. We've talked about how to attack the top of the route, not just run the route. Anybody can run a dig. This is the example I've always used. Anybody can run a dig. Me and Coach Al and Coach Carl and Brinsky all tied. We can get out there and run a dig right now.
Right.
But what made Devontae so different is when it was time to go into the top of the route of the dig, he knew how to set the defender up based on where the defender was at. Is he in your hip pocket? Is he behind you? Is he in front of you? It's a difference in just running the route and making your quarterback throw you open or making your quarterback throw the ball to you. It's a whole. That's what I was saying earlier about people wanting Ty to start. It's a chemistry thing. It's a timing thing.
Right.
You just can't go a week and then put Ty in there and think everything's just gonna go the way it's supposed to go. You tell them, Coach, you got to do this repetition over and over and over and over. You know what I mean? I'm talking about from the cadence, from your mouth, from the cadence, all the way down to especially those timing routes. That stuff take a long time to get. You know, the receiving quarterback, got to know what each other doing. A lot of times receivers run routes and they be on the different pages. Y'all think it's the quarterback's fault. A lot of times it's not.
Yeah,
you're right. You're right.
I was thinking another thing too, Coach Al. I'm here quick. I seen like Coach K on the board, right? He was doing a lot of press conference, man, saying that when they were like Jalen can't hit this guy in this spot, but he ran the route wrong. But at that point, Coach K and the boy, that wide receiver saw that this guy was playing on top of him. Once he got to the top of his route, okay, boom, he's supposed to have a deep corner. He see a guy on top of him on a deep corner. He cuts the route so short, break the route off, and he runs the out route. Your quarterback had to see that too. You can't be sitting back here, okay, damn, you got a safety on top of my wide receiver. I'm going to throw this route anyway. If my wide receiver break, at that point, you should know your wide receiver think, okay, man, the safety's on top of you. We're going to throw the out route. So you break it off, boom, we're going to go on the out route. You start breaking routes off like that, going out route. That's how NFL is so successful. If you got a corner or a safety playing on top of you, you don't run that route. You stop your route, you cut your route off short. Either you're going to stop, come back, you stop, you go out, you stop, you go in. Some way you're going to have to stop your route because if that man throwing a deep route and the safety or corners on top of you, 9 times out of 10, either that's a pick or it's an incompletion. Unless he throw a back shoulder throw.
That's what you get. Now we're getting there. Now we find that's what the evolution of the back shoulder throw is right there. Yeah. Okay. All right. When the guy get on top of your shoulder, that's automatic read right there that it's a back shoulder. Okay. So, but the thing about it is what make the great passers, they throw with anticipation. Okay.
Thanks.
And Coach Sean is nailing it. That is not just on the quarterback. The quarterback looks great when the guy comes out of his breaking the balls in the air. But he got to be confident the guy gonna be where he's supposed to be. So
exactly
that comes with repetition and repetition. You just can't say, okay, that's why Mbakwe is going to have a limited package for what he can do in terms of anticipation throws over the middle. That's why we will probably see him with bubbles. That's why we probably will see him with some slants. That's why we probably will see him with some deep overs, which Jalen can throw really well, by the way, because that'll allow him to run away from the man and create space for himself. And open is really open. You don't have to throw him open at that point in time. That's why I also say Cuevas is going to have a pretty big game because Jalen had some chemistry with him already. They connected quite a bit this year, and it's his first year there, which means that I think that he knew more about what the board wanted out of that particular play than anybody because he's been in the system, and that helps the quarterback know this guy. I know exactly where he's going to be. Okay, so that's the passing game in a nutshell, right there. That's why we were so up and down, because Ryan Williams is advanced at creating. He's a great creative route runner, like Devontae Smith. In fact, he kind of mapped his game after Devontae Smith. Devontae Smith is so smooth in his route running. He's eating ground up on you. He's get up on your toes before you even know it, man. Because he's so smooth in his route. And Ryan Williams is the same way already.
At a younger age.
At a young age, this guy's so advanced, man. But I'm talking some stuff now that most people don't even understand, Coach Sean. Because we rep that stuff in summertime, you know. We rep that stuff in the summertime, and you're trying to see what guys are playing leverage. You know, when you're coming out, you don't run a route at the same speed every time. You just don't do it. Every guy, he's a 4.3. He should be a great receiver. Yeah, because he's running at 4.3 every time, so you know exactly how to play it. How can you set somebody up if you ain't changing it up on them? You know. Anyway. I won't go off on that, man.
Go ahead.
No. Well, listen. We're putting them on game right now, but also got to put Goose up here saying, for the pretty boy girl rant, Coach Carl at the $4.99. Thank you very much, Goose, for the donation.
I was dying laughing over here.
Oh, man.
Hey, Goose.
That was great.
Man,
DC Curry. You get an invitation to DC Curry.
The thing about one of the best rants, man. You up there with Jans, man.
The thing about it, Brinsky, man, is I be holding back, man. I be so frustrated, man, as a coach, that there's certain things you can't say. Like you certain things you just can't say. But now my football season over, Alabama regular season over, so I get a chance to sit down here and just let loose. So I don't have to be a basketball coach now. I can just sit back and let loose. It irritates the shit out of me, man. I'm telling you, I sit in the stands and I watch these guys running these deep routes. I mean, these deep NFL routes. Man, you won't have no damn Jordan Jefferson on your damn team. I mean, you ain't got no damn Odell Beckham on your damn team that can just go out here and just make all these spectacular catches. You ain't got no DK. Yeah, you ain't got no DK.
You have 3 seconds to do it. Not Jalen Milroe, not with that line.
You got
that's what makes Sark different. That's what makes Sark different.
You got a line that not being able to hold up on anything, and you want to kid stand in the pocket and just stand in the pocket and be a pocket damn passer. That's the biggest problem that you see with Shador Sanders. Once that kid starts screaming outside the pocket, he's dynamic. But you want to make these kids stand in the pocket and go through 1, 2, 3 read. Man, by the time you go from 1 to 2, you already got people at your damn feet or people hanging on your shoulder. Put these guys out there and damn bootleg, man. Fake ball, bootleg their ass out there. And now he got a run pass option. You give him a run pass option, and then boom, he throwing it. Next thing you know, these linebackers will start sucking. Boom, Jalen Milroe takes off on the run pass. That what made Deshaun Watson. Put Deshaun Watson ass out there in space. He made the right read every single time. And he beat our ass twice with the same different shit.
The problem with us this year is we tried to run an RPO, but we ended up just running a PO. There wasn't no run. There's no run.
That's fact. That's fact. That's the best way
to put it. Hey, you say, but hey, I'm not saying RPO time. I'm saying bootleg him out.
No, you said
you bootleg him out time on a passing route, and then he got a run option. So it's a pass on the bootleg, and if the defense sink, you run it. If the defense comes up, you pass it.
I'm in 100% agreement. I'm just saying what Bama did this year. They tried to do the RPO, but they didn't have any run, so it was just a pass option.
Yeah, they didn't do. I don't even think they tried to do RPO anyway. I think it was just that quarterback keep this, quarterback keep that. I don't think they was reading. Like if it was RPO, his ass won't be reading defense in or RPO. You watching the linebacker because everything is quick.
That was a counter read. That was a quarterback counter read. That was strictly for Jalen.
Yeah,
he has they either want him to hand it off or keep it himself. I don't know if the pass was even an option most of the time when I seen us, man.
Well, here's why I say that. We can go. We look at the God. What game was it? It was one of the first 3 games. There was a beautiful play that I've talked about all the time, where it started off as what I would call an RPO. Jalen went to start running, and before the lineman ever got downfield, he looked, and there was Caleb Odom, and he dumped it off 7-8 yards to Caleb Odom. But the play, I mean, if we would have done that all year, you weren't going to stop that consistently, right? And it was kind of like what Coach Carl was saying. They got him moving out. He could have ran it if he wanted, but he looked up and saw Caleb Odom sitting in his zone, and he just boop right to him. Easy first down, right? Easy first down. I'll tell you what else. Michigan or Goose with the 499 says, does the Michigan defense resemble any other defenses we played this season? From a schematic standpoint, they do some of what Bama does sometimes, right? So it's not going to be foreign for what this team wants to do, Goose. So that's the good news. Guys, we've been going for an hour and 35 minutes. I do want to hit this other topic before we get out of here. Oklahoma shocked by Navy, and then their defensive coordinator takes the job at West Virginia instead of staying at Oklahoma. Now I'm going to start this off. In terms of OU losing to Navy, OU, like other teams, had a lot of opt-outs, all right? Very young. The problem with OU having opt-outs, they were already the most injured team in all of college football this year. Looked like a damn CVS receipt every time the injury report came out. I mean, it was incredible. It was actually impressive at one point how many players they had out. Then you get the opt-outs. So it was a shell of the Sooners. That's already tough. Plus, you run into a team like Navy that we just got done talking about who? Vandy running that scheme. Navy runs something very similar.
Yep.
That's a tough thing to prep for. I don't care if you're Brent Venables. That's tough. So that was shocking. They shouldn't have lost that game because they were still the more talented team. But I also think that it's a nuanced conversation. Now, to Zach Alley leaving the Sooners and going to West Virginia. He's been with Rich Rod before. So I think a lot of people are dooming OU. Had it not been somebody that he worked with prior, I think it would be much worse. There's no comparing OU and West Virginia. There's none. But he knows Rich Rod. And 2, I think, guys, this is a situation where he wants full control of his defense. He was coaching under Brent Venables. You think Brent Venables let him have full control of that defense? Come on now. He didn't have full control of that defense. I think it's a 2-part thing. He wanted full control of the defense, and he already was comfortable with Rich Rodriguez. So that's what I think it is. Coach Sean, talk to me about OU losing to Navy and then Zach Alley.
Man, that was a loss, man. That was a big loss for them. They, to lose that guy and have something to build on going into next year. That offense is just really, really tough to replicate in practice, man. It's really tough to replicate. If you look at the stats, I think Navy ran the ball almost 40 times with 2 people. I looked at the stats. One dude had 17, 18 carries. The other dude had 14, 15 carries. So that's time of possession. You know what I mean? That defense, that offense is very tough. When you look at Oklahoma, the offense really didn't play that bad. I think the QB threw for like 250, close to it. I think both running backs had decent yardage. The stats were very similar between both of the teams. And even Oklahoma completed some passes on offense. I think they had one guy with 7 for 70-something yards receiving. The difference in the game is time of. If I had looked at the time of possession, but I would rather want to know did Navy dominate the time of possession or because getting first downs is time of possession, man. That offense, if you don't get these guys with those type of offense off the field on 3rd down, there's a possibility you're going to lose that game with offenses that run that type of offense. Coach Al is a master at that type of offense. You can't let these guys create first downs for themselves, man, because all you're doing with those kind of offenses of extending drives. These guys are just, misdirection, counterplay this, counterplay that, cross bucking you here, cross bucking you there. You know, that was just a bad matchup to me for Oklahoma. I don't want to play none of them service academies. I don't want to play Vandy. I don't want none of that kind of offense because, yeah, man, because it's very difficult. I don't care how much time you have. It's difficult to replicate that in practice from all the standpoints. And all the coaches got different ways of replicating that. I know people that practice without a football with that kind of offense because trying to get people's eyes trained right.
Right.
You know what I'm saying, Coach Al?
Right. That's right. Yeah, that's right. That's what you do.
It is so hard to replicate that offense until you see it on that day. And then you're out of position. That offense is based strictly on getting you just a little bit over here, a little bit over there, getting both of y'all seeing the same thing, getting two people in the same, it's just a bad matchup, man. The stats don't tell the story of that game if you look at the stats.
Yeah, you're right, Coach. I can relate to what you're saying. During that game, we were texting back and forth. I'm saying, Navy's doing the OU what Vandy did to us, and they copied what Vandy did to us and did it on us, and we still couldn't stop it. That just goes to show you that that kind of beer type football is designed to get you making a false step or maybe slowing down instead of coming downhill.
Yep.
Or if you get overly aggressive, they just run it right past you. So you can't get too upfield against that offense. And they threw it just enough, they threw it just enough to get some chunk plays in the passing game a little bit too. One thing that they did do, they mixed it up pretty good. OU, like I said, it's just hard to prepare. You said we used to run that offense, like I told you. And in fact, I had a quarterback to go to Navy from our school to run that offense. Okay. Even though we had switched over to the Tony Franklin system after that, but we had a quarterback to go to Georgia Tech to run that same scheme, and you just could not stop us. Okay. We were running it so fast, you couldn't read it as fast as we were running it because we run it every day. Okay. So I don't know. I don't like playing those teams from behind. Now, if I play in front, they got problems. And that's what OU did. OU came off the gas. They should have stayed on the gas, put points up on the board. Navy would have had to try to correspond to try to play and get out of character. Didn't happen that way. So I hate it for them. But one thing that Washington State quarterback is transferred into OU. They're going to have an interesting quarterback battle coming next year. You didn't hear that?
Oh, yeah. And then they got that offensive coordinator from Washington State, too. And that quarterback from Washington State, that's a dude. That's
what I'm saying. It's going to be interesting in that quarterback room next year with those two guys there, man. So Britt Venables, I hope they don't give up on him. I hope they give him a chance to reconstitute his staff and get his people in, just like DeBoer. I think that in time, DeBoer will do something with his staff. I think there will be some turnover there. I think it's going to be some roster turnover to get his guys and his culture in that building to build his program. That's what I think.
Brensky, talk to me. And then, Lynn, we're going to hit your question after we get through with this segment. That's what we'll end on.
It's not too much to be said after all what y'all said, man. It's just like it's just a new age in college football, man. It was a better opportunity to go elsewhere. You knew you weren't going to have full control over there, so it was just best that you just went somewhere else where you at least have some type of control.
Well, the guy at Georgia, I forget his the defensive coordinator. I forget his name. Schumann. Yeah. If you notice, Kirby's never too far away from him.
Yeah. Facts.
Kirby's never too far away from him. It's just like when Kirby was. Yeah.
Before I can tell you for that, Glenn Schumann called that defense. Kirby corrects him when he see him making mistakes, but Glenn Schumann run that defense.
Oh, true that. I'm not saying he doesn't, but you got a guy looking over your shoulder. I mean, so if that guy's uncomfortable with Brent Venables looking over his shoulder, he got to look at Brent Venables with the national championship ring that Brent Venables has. Okay, he needs to respect that and learn. Okay, so to me, Kirby stayed under Nick. Nick was in his hip pocket the whole, and they were going at each other on the sideline, making sure that defense was tight. Schumann and Kirby do the same thing. That's trust. That's what a coaching staff is all about. When the pressure's on, and you know how hot it can get on the sideline, you can go at each other, okay, but you're both trying to win the game. You can go at each other and hear each other without talking past each other. So, yeah, I wish he had stayed. I wish he had stayed to learn on the Vanderbilt. I wish he had done that.
Coach Carl, what you thinking?
Coach Al, think about there's another thing, another aspect of it that you don't really see too. They're not getting the defensive recruits that they really wanted over there OU, and then you got to play, and you got to play in the SEC. So you can start over, man. He can leave, go over to West Virginia, and he can start over building the defense the right way because there's no high expectation over there West Virginia as it is over there OU. You can't have too bad. You can't have two bad seasons, but you just can't have two bad seasons at OU on defense. Yeah, they in the Big 12.
Okay, yeah, then there is that. Yeah, lesser competition.
Less competition, and then you got time to build a defense. OU, I mean, over there West Virginia, they offensive grounded anyway. It always been offensive grounded. So you can take your time and get some players in their transfer portal and try to build a stock defense on the SEC style defense in the Big 12, and you dominate. You can't have another bad season on defense in the SEC at OU. You out of there anyway. So I mean, you about if me and DC at OU, and I know if I can't get the kids in the transfer portal or the kids recruited that I want to come in this season, I would have voted too, man, because that's a lot of pressure, man. You had one good game the whole season, and that's Alabama. Every other game on defense, you stunk up the place most of the time.
But they were injured.
You had one good game as Alabama.
Well, their defense was solid. They had the number 2 rush defense in terms of efficiency. Their backup
rush defense, they were tough. But you got look how many Auburn put up on that defense.
Because Auburn threw the ball. That's why I was irate when we played them. We tried to run into the teeth of the number 2 rushing efficiency defense in the nation and didn't start trying to throw the ball deep until it was too late. That didn't make any sense to me.
They didn't, but Ty, you got to think about it. They didn't try to rush the ball. They tried to mirror the ball against Oklahoma.
Well, that's what we did all year.
Yep. So you can't, man, that's Brick Venables. Brick Venables are going to do like Kirby tried to do. They're going to take away your strength. If your strength is Jalen Milroe run the ball, you're not going to beat Brick Venables that way. It's just not going to happen. They knew when we played Brick Venables with Jalen Hurts, they knew that we was a running team play action passing team. So you start taking away with Jalen's strength. Jalen's gonna roll to the right. Pressure comes, he's gonna take our running right. They'll send their defense and they'll rush stunt their defense line to the left, make Jalen pull to the right, and linebacker be sitting on their waiting on it. They take what you do the best away from you. That's how Venables coach defense. That's how smart people coach defense. There's nowhere in the hell Jalen Milroe beats me. And I'm a high school damn coach. I'm not gonna let you sit down there and quarterback keep this shit wrong zone. I mean, what is this so-called zone read they're running with? Jalen keep it. He ain't doing that. I'm gonna have a linebacker on here, a linebacker here, and my 2 defense in. We're gonna crash down on the quarterback, and let my linebacker play the running back. I'm gonna make you do something different. Milroe is not gonna beat me as a high school coach. And I'm quite sure if that was Brinsky, Coach Sean, Coach Al, we're gonna tell our defense coordinator, hey man, stop the quarterback. Yeah, I'll let Ryan Williams go off and get 6 TDs. Yeah, you hit him too. He gets catching that man damn ball. You keep tagging his ass. He gonna drop a few. He ain't SEC built right, so we're gonna tag the shit out of his ass. We're gonna push him out of bounds. We're gonna talk about his daddy. Okay, you Alabama, but your daddy from Auburn, you suck. Now we're gonna do everything we can to get you out of your game, but we're gonna stop Milroe. What Vandy do? Vandy stop Milroe most of the time. Oklahoma stop Milroe. Tennessee stop Milroe, and they start tagging Ryan Williams. They'll grab Ryan Williams, throw his ass on the ground. They're tagging him after the play. They're pushing him after the play, get him out of the comfort zone. They were just touching. You're not going to anybody else. It's a two-man team in Alabama right now. Ryan and damn Jalen. They got Bernard in the game later on in the season. But before that, man, it was Ryan and Jalen. That's it. A two-man damn team. Once they figure out, let's stop Ryan from going deep because he's not physical enough right now to beat us across the middle. And let's shut down Jalen Milroe. Georgia did it in the second half. Shit, we barely can move the ball in the second half against Georgia. If one for one spectacular catch by Ryan, shit, we lose that game against Georgia. I mean, that's just be honest. And I'm like, shit. So I'm looking at like Brett Venables, West Virginia. You get the same money, you get more rounds of the team, and it ain't got that much pressure. That's an easy victory. If you go to West Virginia and you turn this defense into a top 30 defense in the country, you start winning for games on defense, get 1 or 2 kids drafted off their defense. Yeah, that guy gonna be a damn hot commodity off a head coach. Everybody gonna want to try to bring him in as a head coach. I don't mind it. I hate it for OU. I really do. But shit, that Brett Venables, man, that's Oklahoma. You can get it. You can make a phone call, man. Just get down there just by any coach you want outside the coaches in the SEC. You can call over and get anybody from the ACC, down there anybody from the Big Ten. I mean, it just depends on what team you call. Indiana had a start defense coordinator this year. You can call over there and get that cat. That cat won 11 games with that type of thing, with those keys, transfer portal. I mean, so you can get that guy, bring him in, put him on your program, do good. We constantly have a good defense. Our always has a good defense. There's so many good defensive coaches out there, man. You just got to bring them in, put them in your system, have them running things the way you want to run it, and then we good to go, man. I don't really care about it, man. I mean, shit. As long as they Alabama losing coaches, I really don't care. Oklahoma beat us, so maybe they should lose Brent Venables too. Shit, let's hire Venables and break him down to damn Tuscaloosa. Shit.
Well,
I mean, that's how I feel about it.
Let me tell you this real quick. What I believe really quickly, the difference in Oklahoma and Texas is obviously Sark has a year on Brent Venables, right? We never know what Oklahoma's gonna look like next year. Sark has a year, but this is the difference. Back when the Red River rivalry was going on, and they I think Oklahoma beat them in his first year or so. When they tied, Brent Venables' first year, I think he beat Sark. Did he not?
No,
Sark second.
because it was Brent Venables' first year. Dylan Gabriel went out with a concussion the week prior against TCU, and then their backup quarterback got sick, and so they played basically Wildcat because they had
what game? I don't remember what game it was, but these guys, it was very close. No. This was like in their first year or two. It was a really, really close game. And
that was last year.
Might have been last year. Either way, my point was Sark, when Brent got to Oklahoma had a lot of veteran offensive linemen who are gone now, right? When Sark got to Texas, they had a lot of athletes, but no linemen. I saw an interview where he talked about they barely could even have a competitive practice because they didn't have a lot of big bodies. Being in the SEC, he realized going into that conference, I've got to recruit. If you look at their the way they recruited, Oklahoma recruited a lot of receivers and things like that because they had veteran offensive linemen. Sark got a gang of young, Kevin Banks in them class, a lot of young offensive linemen, bro, that you see now is paying the difference. Paying those Oklahoma linemen have since graduated. Yeah, they've graduated. They're gone. So you got a lot of young offensive linemen that's not really ready to play. Texas linemen, these guys have been in the program a few years. A lot of them, Kevin Banks is starting since he was a freshman. You see the differences in how they recruited. That year in the SEC really, really showed Sark what he needed to compete nationally, right? And you see it paying off for him.
Love it. And hey, listen, Kyle Flood's a hell of a recruiter. We remember when he was at Bama.
That's a fact.
He got a hell of a haul. The only offensive line class at Bama in the last decade that I think is and it didn't end up panning out, right? That offensive line class he had on paper, it was phenomenal, but it was also the COVID evaluations and that was wonky for everybody. But you remember we got the Brockermeyers, we got great class on paper. They didn't end up panning out. This class that Bama just got with Coach Cap, this offensive line class, looks to be really good. Once again, it's paper. Michael Carroll, I thought he was the best offensive lineman in the nation. Tackle, guard, didn't matter. That kid's mean. That kid is mean, like a junkyard dog. He is going to be a force, I think. I think he's going to be a monster.
Yeah, he could start the A1.
I think he will.
I think he gets spankings though. He gotta be getting spankings because he that mean. Like he's a bully.
Bro, he
Jackson Lloyd too. Jackson Lloyd, a hell of an athlete.
Jackson Lloyd, man.
Jackson Lloyd, Mal Waldrop. Like, this is a hell of a class, y'all. It's a hell of a class.
Mal Waldrop's a bully too, yeah.
So hell of a class.
Jackson Lloyd is a pass protector.
I like Jackson Lloyd footwork.
Yeah.
Asking.
Yep. Want to hit this, and then this is going to be the last thing. We're going to plug up the channels and get out of here. Lynn Janifelt with the $25. Thank you very much, Lynn. Great supporter of the channel, friend of the channel. You all, you know how we feel about you over here, Lynn. Says, coaches, I know what I think. I want to know what you guys think. Is the win more important to win this game and play Milroe to the end, or is it more important to see the backup quarterback, Simpson and Mack, in live action? What is it? I'll be brief in mine. If Milroe wants to play, you play. Because he started this. He was the captain that steadied the ship whenever Saban retired. He was been an unbelievable leader. And he has just been someone who was so important to Alabama. So incredibly important to Alabama. And I think when Milroe's at his best, he is awesome. He is awesome. This is another opportunity for him to go out against a well-coached team and to continue perfecting his craft. Now, if in the third, fourth quarter, this is a blowout, which I don't know I don't think it will be. But if it's a blowout, that's when you can say, okay, Milroe, you take your last few snaps, then we're going to get Ty Austin Mack in here and keep you healthy for the draft. We've won the game. Let's ride. But for me, I'm rolling with Milroe. Coach Sean, what do you think?
I'm kind of the same. Lynn, if it's a blowout, let Jalen take his bow, let him run around the stadium, give him a big hand of ovation and show our appreciation for him. But if this game is competitive, no, I want the win, because this win will catapult you into the spring. A loss is bad right now. I want the win under all circumstances, because if you go into the spring with a win against Michigan, everybody's happy, everybody's feeling good. They know the competition is going to be open. You know this. Ty, we don't have to play him. I'd like to see him. Don't get me wrong. But
I'm right here.
To me, it's just not a necessity, because Jalen's probably going to go to the league, man. So, but if you lose this game, no, it's all bad. It's all bad. 4 losses, it's all bad. The win to me is the most important thing, because from that win, the tentacles will all be positive. Everything gonna be on a high going into the spring.
Yeah,
I completely agree.
Hey, Lance, I really like the question you put out there to us, man. Okay, I'm gonna say it clearly like this: I hate losing more than I like winning.
Sure.
And I have this thing that I used to tell my players all the time. It's called a theory of nothing. Coach Sean, you've heard me say that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. What does that mean, Lynn? That we don't want to get an opponent nothing. We don't want to leave nothing to chance. We don't want to leave nothing off the field. At the end of the day, nothing is everything. So
that's a fact.
That translates into not losing the game by any means necessary. Dominate the box. Don't give him nothing. Don't give him an inch. Nothing is everything. So that's how I feel about that. I'm not trying to play this Milroe tie game. I'm not doing that. That's the problem with things. This is a team game. It's a team sport. Ty has shown that he's all in anyway, else he would have left.
Yeah, I don't have to.
Okay.
I'm not going anywhere.
Kai don't have to prove anything to us, man. He's Bama, okay? He's built by Bama. And he's going to have to compete for a position next year. That's what makes him better anyway. If he's going to run away from that, he would have been ran away from that. So I think we win the game at all costs, and we try to win it in grand style to send his seniors out with, on a high note. We dominate the game. We don't want to give them nothing.
That's a fact. And really quickly, everybody in the world used transitive properties against Alabama. We beat Tennessee, so that means y'all suck. Y'all Tennessee beat. Okay, well, you lost against Michigan. How about we put belt to their asses, right? Leave no doubt. So the whole world can be like, man, maybe we should have put Alabama in.
You're not directing it at Ebony, are you?
No. Don't do it.
We love
I had to drop that in there, man, because Ebony, I don't know if she's still out there, man.
I'm still mad at her. Look, she texted me when my Steelers lost, and she texted me and had to remind me of that.
Yeah, we got beat up, man.
That's tough.
Hey, that was ugly, man.
Yes, Al.
That's tough.
We did.
That was ugly, man.
That's tough.
Yeah.
That's 2 in a row, man. Wow.
Let's just go out there and get the W, man. Now, it nothing else matters. Let's just end the year. I just only disagree with Coach Sean on one thing. I don't think it's the end of the world. Well, he didn't say it's the end of the world, but I know how he feels. He want to go out there and just get the W. I want to get the W, but I know I feel a lot better going into the offseason with a W against these guys. So let's just go get the W, and that's plain and simple. Just win, baby.
Just win.
Yeah, I'll pick it back on that, Prince. Let me tell you something, man. I know Michigan has a talented team, but if we playing our guys and Michigan playing their backups, our starters can't beat your damn backup. That's gonna look fucking horrible to me. And that's period. If our starters can't beat your damn backup, that's freaking horrible. And that's a reflect on what kind of coach staff we have. If we go out here and we stink it up against some backups, and our coach staff really ain't the coach staff that we thought they were. And that's period, man. I don't give a damn. I mean, we stunk it up against Vandy, but Vandy turned out to be a really damn good team.
True.
Vandy won their bowl game by double digits. The Oklahoma bowl game that we were talking about, yeah, they had.
It's a good team against a good team.
Yeah.
Let's
and
be
then
real.
Oklahoma played their backup, but their backup is still better than their Navy starters. They should have won that game by double digits. They let up. Like I told y'all in the text, I saw the game. Oklahoma got a 14-0 last year. It's a blowout. I turned it off because I knew that Navy had nothing for Oklahoma. Oklahoma let up. Navy came back. Venoms go for 2 when they should have kicked the field goal and beat Navy in overtime.
How do you think Oklahoma feel right now losing that game? What the vibe going into this? It's bad.
Terrible.
Yeah,
really terrible. All those kids probably feel horrible right now.
They feel like we felt when we lost to Vandy.
Yeah,
man.
That's how we felt until we lost to Vandy. We felt even worse.
And then you think about this. If we put Milroe on the bench second half and put Ty in the game and try to get Ty reps and try to move Ty forward for the next season, and then Ty have a bad second half, that kills his confidence going into next season. And we might well start Dylan Longer because now you don't have a quarterback.
He gone.
Longer transfer. So now we won't have no now we got to start a freshman or we got to start Austin Mack because now you don't have a confident quarterback after taking that loss against Baggers going into the season. His confidence is shot. I'm telling you, man. Let Ty, if the game is out of hand and Ty goes in there and play, it's no pressure. But if the game is tight and he go in the game and then he don't win the game, it's too much pressure on the young man. And he's not going to come back next year with that. He may transfer after the bowl game. I'm just be honest. They go out there, he stake it up and he lose, he probably going to transfer, get out there because it's too much pressure. What happened with Mac Jones? Mac Jones played backup the whole season. He hated it. When he came back in the next year, him and Smitty had worked together, got their chemistry together, and they came out and then they dominated the next year. Mac Jones was unstoppable because they didn't throw his ass in the fire. He had to wait his turn. That time wait his turn. He beat out Austin Mack. He beat out Russell. It's his job. He carries through. If he beat out those two talented quarterbacks, shit, he gonna probably go hit damn to go undefeated. I mean, he got a tough slate ahead of Rose again ahead of him. He got to go to Georgia. That's gonna be tough. Got to go to LSU. That's gonna be tough. But he's gonna have a tough slate of games ahead of him. He got to go to Auburn. That's gonna be tough. But yet and still, he should be battle tested by the time he gets to some of those games if he wins the starting job. Right now, man, he just ride it on out. Milroe got us to the bowl game. We're gonna ride on out with Jalen. If Jalen blow out Michigan, which I really hope he does, go ahead and set the standard and say, man, we here, we Bama. Go out there and take care of business, and then the Bagels get a chance to shine. Okay, that's cool. Other than that, we're gonna ride Milroe to the wheel fall off. If he lose, he lose. If he wins, he win. I mean, that's just how I go. But he damn sure better not lose to a bag up Michigan team. I don't give a damn we win by 1 point. Your ass better not lose to these bag ups. Period. If you lose to these bag ups, I might not buy a season ticket next year. To be honest. I said the goddamn house and watch that bullshit. That's a lot of damn money, man. I lost a lot of money this year losing all these damn games. That shit hurt my feelings sitting in the stands. It's fun, but you don't want to go to the stands when you got down when everybody in the stands expecting you to lose. Y'all probably ain't seen that, right? I've been in the we walk in the stadium, man, for like I wonder if we gonna win today. That's the vibe of the crowds, man. And we ain't never had that type of vibe. In the 8 years I've been going to Bama games, you never had that type of vibe. Even when Joe Burrow come to town, we didn't think we were gonna lose that game. Joe Burrow and LSU had one of the most potent offenses we ever seen. They was like, oh shit, we finna beat the shit out of Burrow. Burrow finna get a shot. Until Trump stood up, and everybody like, oh. It got worse. I mean, he came in, they stopped the game, they announced that he was there, and the crowd was happy. But it seemed like the team sucked the air out of the team. Because Nick Saban said he really didn't want Trump to come because it was a different aspect. And it seemed like it sucked out the team. And then Joe Burrow came out and said, hey, he looked up, fanned his hand like whatever, and came out there more and boom, boom, two touchdowns back to back, like. Damn, are we gonna stop this dude today? But no, man. I haven't seen a vibe in Tuscaloosa, a losing vibe in the fan base in Tuscaloosa since I've been going to those games. And this year, it didn't matter who we played. Those fans expected us to lose. When South Carolina came to town, those fans was expecting us to lose. It's like, man, I'm telling you. Y'all, if y'all go in there for stands and sitting on stands like that, man, and then y'all see the vibes of the fans, the vibes of the student body. The student body ain't even that excited about most games. The biggest game the student body got excited about was Auburn, and they just wanted to be Auburn. We can't lose to Auburn, so they piled in there. Man, most of those damn fans, man, I'm telling you, they go in the stand, they sit down like they him. Bama's struggling. They turn the ball.
They're gonna have to learn to support.
I gotta go get me some beer. It here ain't for me. And they get drunk in the stands, and then Bama scored. Everybody jump up and down happy. Man, that was rough. That was a rough year. This is a very rough year, and you don't want to end the season in the same way that the season been going. We get a win, then everybody gonna come back next year excited that we beat a Big Ten school, a big name Big Ten school, and not just a puppy dog school. And then another thing, it's a slap in the face to the other bowl games that rejected our ass. Go out here and beat Michigan ass, they're gonna wish that they hadn't rejected our asses. You know what I mean? So let's just go out here and show the world that we still Bama. That's all that really matters. That A on Coach Al's shirt. Let's go out there and show the world that A still means something. It's in the background. Those 4 fingers on my wall. It's time to let people know that we still Bama and let all the bullshit aside. Period.
Love it. Love it. Guys, we've been going for 2 hours, 10 minutes. We've had a great viewership throughout. You guys in the chat have been fantastic. We're going to go around the table, let everybody know where they can find everyone's great content. We're going to reverse it. Coach Carl, right back to you, man. Where can they find all your great content?
I'm on the Block Sport Talk with Coach Carl on YouTube, and I'm on I'm Coach KD Taylor on Twitter. I actually dropped a couple of videos last week, but Coach Jantz hit me up and said it didn't have no sound. I don't know what happened, but I didn't have any sound. I was talking for 45 minutes with no sound.
Oh man.
So
It's happened to me before.
So
I
had
unplugged my mic,
Oh
got
man.
done with an entire video, gone to put the outro on, and then realized, damn it.
Man, it hurt my feelings. So I had to go back in there. I actually in the process of going back in there redoing that video. It's kind of sad because the video that I posted was the same thing that I said today. I was mad. So I couldn't post the video, so I just got it out on live. And I'm sorry, Ty. I apologize, man. But I wanted to say it on my video, but it was so blank. And I mean, I was sitting down there having a rant. I almost had a nerve breakdown on the video, but I had to delete it because it didn't have no sound. So I was like, man, at least I get a chance to let everybody know how I really feel about this season while they listening. So it makes it even better because we might not get a lot of views on the video, but on live we have a lot of people on live night, so they see exactly how I felt all year long. And thank y'all for being here, man. Y'all subscribe to my channel, man. I need y'all. I need y'all to subscribe and give me some likes on my video. I know they're not that good right now, but they're gonna get there. I promise you.
Always great stuff, Coach Carl Brinsky.
Oh, as always, man, y'all can catch me at the Sharpshooters Podcast. And as always, the link is in the comment section. Just easy click on, subscribe to the channel. On the road to 700 subscribers. Also, you can catch me on Twitter / X at B_sharp. And I didn't want to make this announcement. Can I make the announcement here, Ty?
Bro, make the announcement.
Go ahead.
Yeah, man.
Great
So
news.
I got some great, awesome news. I got my credentials for the Senior Bowl, ladies and gentlemen. It just came in today. So my first official credentials is at the Senior Bowl.
Yeah.
So, yes, man. I'm extremely excited about that. So nervous about it, but I will be prepared for it. So get the rub elbows with a lot of folks down there. So some Bama guys that I definitely want to talk to and see them in person. So that's what's up, man. I appreciate everybody. And it's even better to announce it on Ty's channel because a lot of you guys got to know me here. And it's all because I reached out to him.
Yes, sir.
And showed me love and let me come up here. So, brother, I appreciate that.
Yes.
Of course, man.
Just like Coach Al said, man, just be yourself, man. Being yourself is what got you there.
Oh, yeah.
And
100%.
being yourself is what's going to keep you there.
Oh, yeah.
Hey,
authenticity, man.
Hey, Brinsky. The creator only made one Brinsky.
That's
how
it.
How can you be anything else?
Yeah.
That's what got you there, man. You know?
Oh, yeah,
one of our own. How about that?
Oh, yeah. Man.
Fact, brother.
I'm extremely excited about it.
Yeah. Well, I'm just an OG. I'm not a content creator. These guys are gracious enough to let me hang out with them and talk ball. And but you can catch me on Twitter, AlSand79 on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, or on Instagram at Al.Sanders. That's me. I'll hit you back and we can chop it up, you know. But thanks for letting me hang out, Ty and Sean and Coach Carl, man. Appreciate you guys, man. And let the old guy hang out with you, okay?
I mean, all the prop goes
Love it,
Ty,
Coach.
man.
Always.
Yeah, appreciate you.
Coach Sean.
Man, listen, before I give it, man, much love. Coach Al, we've been trying to get him to get a channel for the longest. He has a wealth of knowledge. Love talking to this brother, him and Coach Carl and Brinsky. And you already know my brother Ty. I could talk to these guys forever, man. Big congratulations to my brother, brother Brinsky, man.
Right.
I can't tell you how proud of you we are, man. You know what I mean? On that journey, get a praise where it belongs, bro.
Yep.
And I can remember, man, as far as being yourself, bro, Kyle Henderson told me a long time ago, man, Sean, just be yourself, bro. Don't even try to be something different. Just be yourself. And it was the best advice anybody could have ever gave me. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna have no problem with that, Brinsky. You know what I mean? Genuine brother. I support you to the end of time, bro. You know what I'm saying? And that's a whole fact, man. Shout out to Piano Man. Shout out to Jance. All my brothers right here on the panel. Shout out to them boys over there at Bama Standard. My brothers over there doing their big thing. Shout out to KB doing his big things. Just all the dudes that support Bama, man, that love on one another and don't tear one another down. Much love to all y'all, man. And to the man himself, Ty, thank you for allowing us to come on your channel. As always, bro, we try to support you on anything you do. That's a whole fact. Coach Carl, I sent several of my youngsters your way to try to subscribe to your channel. Just big up to everybody. Yeah, Coach. Yeah. And Coach Al, thank you. I use that negative free zone.
Yes,
Love
sir.
that, man. Love that, man. Shout out to all the chat, man. JB, Lynn, Kimberly, everybody in the chat, man. My homegirl, Ebony, love her to death. You know what I mean? Can't stand Ohio State, though, but love her to death. You know what I'm saying? And you can find me definitely at JMHO Sports Talk. That's on Twitter and YouTube. Just my humble opinion. Shout out to everybody. Eric D too, my brother Eric D.
And one more thing, Ty, for you, Coach. I want to give my shots out to Coach Sean, man, because I wouldn't be sitting behind the camera right now if it weren't for Coach Sean. And I appreciate you to the bottom of my heart, brother. I swear to God, man. I tell my wife all the time, I was sending your chat, talking to you in your chat, and you were like, hey man, I'm gonna send you a link. And you come on the screen. And I went out and bought a mic, pretty nice one too. When I bought me a mic, got me a nice camera, plugged up to my laptop, and then I came on here and we started talking football. Because I mean, I've been coaching football for 9 years, man, in high school. Wow. I had a lot of pressure. It's a lot of pressure when you start from a school, man, that you actually play football there. Like I graduated from the school, went back and started coaching at the school, and it took we took a 0-win team, man, from a team that hadn't won a game in 10 years. And we took them in and we put them in the playoffs, man. Had probably 2 or 3 kids, man, that probably gonna play D1 college football. And then I left last year and came out here to my home school. So right down here in the city I live, which was very painful for me. But y'all helped me ease the pain, man, by me leaving there and meeting you guys, man. Went up there, hung out with my brother Sean on A&M homecoming. And now, man, like literally, I'm trying to convince my wife who let me move to Huntsville. That's just how gentleman that brother is, man. Like that's a good brother, man. I promise you. Anybody here on YouTube, man, y'all feel like y'all need anything, y'all need a friend to talk to. Listen, man, hit up Coach Sean. That's a genuine dude, man. Coach Ty. Ty's genius, man. That's a genuine dude, man. Ty invited me to his channel. Coach Sean brought me on, and Ty invited me on. Then I linked up with Brinsky and Coach Al, man. Like these guys you see on the panel with Ty are all genuine. They all genuine dudes. They ain't gonna be backstabbing you, walking behind the line. Soon they get on live with you and start talking behind your back, man. We ain't about that nonsense. We ain't hating on nobody. We ain't gonna never hate on nobody. If you got a channel, your channel hot, we're gonna give you all the props we can, man. We're gonna pump your shit up. Like KB booming over there. And we appreciate him stopping in our chats, man.
And love KB
salute
too.
To KB, man. I watch KB videos.
Justin.
Justin. Yeah, Justin.
I talked to Justin behind the scenes, man. Justin.
Hall of Fame Sports. I watch their video, man. Coach I go down there and watch his channel.
Jason.
Yeah. So
Justin at Bama Standard too. Justin at Bama Standard.
I watched Bama Standard, man. I sat there the other night, watched Stephen A. Smith sitting in his car talking. I mean, long as you positive, man, and you doing good things and you ain't hating on nobody, I mean, we gonna support you, man. I don't give a damn who it is. Yeah, I done watched some of them Georgia guys talk. I done watched some Auburn guys talk, man, because they're not killing nobody on their screen. But we not about it, man. We all about a little
Jason, Tez, around the water cooler, and look, and big shout out. Yeah, Tez, love that boy. Tez.
That's my dude, man.
Last but not least,
I be trying to tell him, man. I be trying to tell him,
man. Big shout out, because the man who gave me my start, this man, regardless of what you want to say, shout out to Kyle Henderson.
Yes, sir.
Cat gave me my start. Regardless of whatever, that cat gave me my start. You never hear me
Facts.
online mentioning nothing about nothing. That good brother gave me my star, and I'll forever, him and Taylor, and I'll forever be appreciative of that brother. Still support his channel as well too.
Yes, sir. And that's what it's all about, man. It's coaches sharing the love of football, man. And we just got the same topic, man. We all love football. That's what we're here for. We just on here talking football.
Happy New Year, guys. I want
That's what it's all about.
Happy New Year, fellas.
Hey, big shout out to my university, Alabama A&M University, Sam Shade, baby. Sam Shade. Go Bulldogs, baby. You know what I mean? You know.
Yeah, A+ higher. A+ higher.
You gotta go.
Great to see that. Great to see that. And y'all can see what a better time to end, right? The cigar I started at the beginning of this has just got to the end. Hey, we're closing on a high note. Y'all already know you can find me here every Monday with this panel, with anybody who wants to come on here and talk football. That's as easy as it is, right? People have asked me, hey, how do I get on the panel? Just shoot me a DM. You want to talk football? That's what this is all about. We're just fans. That's all. That's why every time anybody on Twitter is like, oh, you know, this, that, I'm just like, hey, man, I'm just a fan. I'm just a fan that didn't want to annoy my wife anymore with my football rants. So I just picked up a microphone and a camera and started talking. And here we are. So unbelievably appreciative of all of you on the panel. I've said this before, but this is not only a great wealth of knowledge. Every person on this panel, we've all become friends. We text each other pretty much all day. Right? All day we're texting each other. Right. We're on the phone with each other. So this has become a group of friends, right? Yeah. Like, this is just when we get the opportunity to all come on to a screen and talk. But the conversations we're having here are the same conversations we're having in the chat, in our group chat, right? This is just what we do. So thank you for everybody tuning in. As I always say, and I know y'all are tired of me saying it, two most valuable things you have in life is health and time. And I can't express how much I appreciate you all giving us your time this evening. Hope everybody had a great Christmas. Hope everybody has a happy New Year. Be safe. But I have to let that sixth member of the panel get that last word. That's the spinning wheel of doom. And it spins.